Hello, everyone. Welcome to Zero Gravity Gaming. My name is Shinkari. I'm joined by Thousand Eyes, and here we are in the playoffs, round number 1, Platinum Gaming. Here we are. We are ready to show up and show y'all some great games tonight. No Quarter Gaming, the 3rd seed from the regular season, is taking on TA Divine from the 5th seed from the regular season here. Two teams ready to duke it out to see who moves on to the semifinal. I believe the finals. Are we talking semis right now, Brennan?
This is quarters.
This is quarters, of course. Everyone knew that.
Quarters.
But here we are. This is the no quarters finals gaming. Here, ready to get it on. Thousand, are you ready?
I don't know if we are, dude.
Oh my god.
After casting with so many casters who would just like, jokes aside, or I'm not gonna deal with that joke. It's so good to be casting with you again. Oh man,
Hey,
I love someone who actually responds to my jokes in somewhat of a positive manner. It's great.
Yeah.
Oh, feels good.
With emotion.
Yeah.
With life.
Yeah, with life. With happiness.
Holy moly. But I believe we are into the draft now.
Mm-hmm.
So, just updates for you. Urgot Belveth Siverband and Hecarim MF Diana Band. So TA Divine banning away a lot of meta characters currently.
Mm-hmm.
No Quarter Gaming really focusing on what seems to be pocket picks here. Swain going to be the first pick immediately here for No Quarters, which that one I think makes a lot of sense, especially just as a base. When you have somebody who can play Swain, it's good to pick it early just because not a lot of things really hurt Swain that much. He's capable of surviving pretty decently in any kind of lane. Just couple rough lanes here and there.
Yeah, and now with this, we have the Azir lock-in for the counter pick in that mid lane there. We have, yep, there he is. There's the tree.
There's the tree.
Where is he going? Who knows?
To the forest.
To the forest. Maybe.
It's a tree.
Yeah, maybe he's going into one of the top or bottom.
The tree's going to get a job in an upper management position in the city.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to go to the corporate branch.
I know Quarter pick up the trundle to the Oh my god.
Oh man.
So here's what's actually kind of interesting here. No Quarter definitely going off meta right now, at least with the Swain. Swain is kind of meta, but definitely not like world's meta. Whereas you look at TA Divine, they're literally picking what like T1 and EDG are picking right now. So TA seem to really be valuing meta a lot. You can tell it in their bans as well. The Jinx also leans into that because it is just that hyper carry, which is what a lot of professional teams are doing currently.
Right.
No Quarter seemingly playing what has been working for a lot of previous or a couple of the previous metas that we had, especially when Sejuani was like so popular. Trundle pickup, easy counter to that, no matter where you put it, jungle or top. You know, have that flexibility, and the Renata has been pretty much a staple in the meta for the last couple of patches.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think this is mostly just TA Divine's comfort champions just lining up really well with the professional meta right now.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, Maokai might not be like one of Guster Posey's like most played champions, but Maokai is like insanely easy to pilot that like anyone could just be like, yeah, I'll play him, whatever, sure, it's fine. Right? Like, there's no like big technical like things. Like if you know generally how to play initiators or if you know how to play tanks, you'll probably be fine at Maokai. Like I think there's some small intricacies, like especially if you're playing jungle, of like throwing your saplings a little bit more liberally in order to get vision for your team and like sometimes just scout out the opponent. But for the most part, like Maokai is very easy to pilot, so this is like a really good time to be a Maokai player because, you know, Maokai is just great. He's constantly being locked in, and even if you're not a Maokai player, it's just really easy to pick up for your team. And, you know, he's a relatively flexible pick, but we are going to see the Blitzcrank, baby.
Okay, so here's the funny thing, right?
Okay.
Maokai is technically a triple flex. Can be top, can be jungle, can be support. Blitzcrank is now technically a double flex.
Yes.
Can be maybe even a triple. You could put him in the same exact roles of top jungle and support. Thanks to the changes Blitzcrank got in some of the most recent patches to give him a lot more damage on monsters. He is a jungler now, and that's a terrifying concept that I have yet to face in any game that I have played, and I don't know if I really want to. So
Yeah.
we'll
Yeah.
have to see.
Jeez.
Last pick coming up. No Quarter locking in the Ornn Ashe. What scares me a lot about No Quarter's composition right now is they don't have a lot of damage.
Yeah, I think
Because,
that's the big thing.
yeah.
They really want these fights to go really, really long because that's how they're going to be able to do any sort of significant damage here, right? Renata Glass Ash is pretty strong, but at the same time, like this is just not like maybe they rely on like a lot of the base damages from their characters, but man, there's no really like hard carry, right? Ash will do
Mhm.
damage, Swain will do damage, but it's not anything comparable to like a Jinx that TA Divine have drafted.
Exactly. Yeah. So much of what, so like, you have to look at it from like a power budget standpoint, right? Like, what do these characters do and what are their strengths? What does Ashe do? Ashe is the AD carry with crowd control. She sacrifices damage in order to have that. Swain is the mage that has a lot of healing built into his kit. He sacrifices damage for that. So compared to your more standard AD carry or mage, you're getting less damage. And then on top of that, you have a Trundle, and Ornn, and a Renata. These are decent damage. Like, they all do okay damage for their role, Ornn especially. But like, they're not obscenely high DPS champions. And that's really going to be a struggle when you're going up against a Maokai that is going to be tanky as all hell because he's getting farm. And also even the Blitzcrank to a degree. With if he ends up going Aftershock here, that can completely make a huge problem that No Quarter Gaming, they just won't be able to kill Blitzcrank as things go on.
Yeah, and I agree as well. Like if they want these fights to go really long, they're gonna run into some trouble because TA Divine can match that with, you know, all the self-healing that Maokai has baked into his kit, the defensives that Blitzcrank has as well. Not to mention that Kindred Ultimate will be able to keep their team alive as well. So
Mhm.
now we have a big problem where the consistent damage from No Quarter Gaming is matched really easily from two marksmen and Azir. They have a front line that has lots of defensives that will be able to let the fight go long, and there doesn't seem to be a big sort of solid damage dealer on No Quarter Gaming, whereas TA Divine, they've got plenty. They've got it in spades.
Yeah, and it works really well. Like what it feels like is No Quarter Gaming have a lot of champions that are all generally fairly individualized. Like Ornn can do decent damage for a tank. Ashe can peel for herself as an AD carry. Like it's these champions all kind of work individually. Now, granted, they still want to be in a composition. They want to work with other champions, but it's completely different than TA Divine, which has the Maokai. Maokai alone's not doing anything. Blitzcrank alone is not doing anything. Jinx and Kindred need that front line in order to do their job, as well as Azir. So there's very clear roles set up for TA Divine, whereas No Quarter Gaming feel like they're trying to really cash in on that like early to mid game, where they have the ability to one trade with that Maokai up in top lane with Ornn, and then you have the Ashe Renata poke coming in. Hopefully you can get that Blitzcrank low enough and then have Trundle gank, have Trundle be a really strong early game menace, which he is known to be as a jungler.
Yeah, I think that's the last thing I wanted to really comment on here. The Trundle was picked really early on, and man, I think I've said a million times on this broadcast, or just a million times in broadcasts in general, that I don't typically like Trundle into teams that don't really have a mega tank or don't really have champions that can dodge around his pillar, right? And I think the biggest targets for Trundle this game are going to be Maokai and Jinx. But man, I feel like he might just be in some trouble in this mid game here if he doesn't get ahead early, just because of, you know, how.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
So I agree to an extent, but he does have the Maokai to really easily get an ultimate off on every fight. Like that's going to make him extremely beefy, especially because I expect the Maokai, we'll see, but I expect Aftershock on the Maokai here. I could be Grasp too. I honestly don't know. I feel like Grasp in this lane feels a little weird. even though it's probably the norm on top lane Maokai. It's been so long since I played top lane Maokai. But even though it might be the norm, it feels a little weird in this matchup because you don't want to trade against Ornn. You don't want to be trading auto attacks against him because if his cooldowns are up, he's going to win that every time. You don't want to be doing that. However, if you go the Aftershock, Trundle will steal those stats even harder. So it's kind of a lose-lose situation where neither one of them are going to feel super great this game, but there's really no other option. And that feels a little sad if you are TA Divine.
Yeah, I think I agree where, like, I think at the end, I think Grasp might just be better here just because having that additional healing on your auto attacks means that you'll be able to survive the lane a little bit better against the Ornn.
Yeah.
Right? Just you don't want to trade auto attacks, but being able to go in and proc your passive and
Plus
also the
grasp,
grasp at the same time, like you'll be able to heal through a lot of the damage that Ornn is throwing out. And so you can build a Doran shield and then just, I don't know, stay in lane forever.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, Grasp would probably make more sense. Just feels a little bad. You'd like to be able to go Aftershock, I think. Anyway, we've talked enough about top lane. Let's talk a little bit about this bot lane, because I feel like mid lane is going to go one of two ways. Either Swain gets completely dumpstered by the range of Azir, or it's just a farm fest. But bot lane is interesting because of the Blitzcrank. Obviously, the hook is God is above all and will completely warp the entire bot lane kind of positioning standpoint. But you're looking at a lot of range and poke from Renata Ashe. The level 1 and these early hooks are going to be incredibly important, because if you miss those early hooks, it gives Renata and Ashe free reign in this lane to poke you down so much that you may not be able to go for these hooks later on in the lane. So keep your eyes on bot lane early. That's going to be very crucial for how they're actually going to play out the rest of that lane.
Yeah, and I think it's also important to note that, like, Ashe in these first few levels, I think for the most part, Blitzcrank can probably bait out and wait out a lot of this mana, because Ashe's W, the volley was nerfed a long time ago, and the mana cost on it is just gigantic, and the cooldown as well, right? So in these first few levels, level 1, 2, 3, Ashe is not going to be in a position to really spam volley, so Blitzcrank might be able to use that to his advantage here, because that's when Blitzcrank is at his most powerful, level 1, level 2, right? And the only problem is there because Jinx also has received some nerfs with her early game poke as well. So if they do go for any sort of trades, it might end up just being an all-in instead of just like, oh hey, I grabbed you, let's throw some damage and maybe you get out of here.
Yeah, I think you're going to be looking for the all-ins, especially when you have Kindred nearby, because that gives you that extra damage you need, right? The Jinx may not have it early on. Kindred, not the greatest early game damage champ, but with the Mark, with the E, does have a lot of extra damage, and these are two very squishy champions. It doesn't matter who you grab. As long as you get one, they're probably going to die. Kindred can get pretty easy marks down there. You're not going to be killing anybody top lane. It's going to be a little difficult to kill Swain, especially because you don't have that set up. Bot lane is where this Kindred's going to want to try and focus. So that's probably going to be when you see those engages, just when Kindred is nearby. And then it becomes then on Trundle to be there for those counter ganks, because that can majorly turn that around to have that frontliner there to help you.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's also like one of the easier lanes to set up as well, right? Like Blitzcrank is just really, really good at setting up those ganks too. So Kindred usually needs someone else to set up the gank for them. So Maokai will be able to do it, but like, unless that Ornn's low HP, we probably won't see Kindred up in that top lane anytime soon. But we are going to take just a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be on the Rift of game number 1 of No Quarters Gaming versus TA Divine. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Zero Gravity Gaming. We're on the rift of game number 1 of No Quarter Gaming versus TA Divine. TA Divine on the red side, No Quarter Gaming on the blue. My name is Shinkari. I'm joined by Thousand Eyes, and here we are ready to get this game underway. Thousand, are you excited?
I am excited as we do see the general start rather from both teams. If you are seeing the Ornn with just the refillable, it's pretty standard just to get your first item in lane and have that refillable pot. So you'll see that Doran's probably built up pretty soon. Interesting to see the tier on the Maokai here. That says to me that Deity is feeling pretty solid about this. Overall, I feel like Deity is feeling pretty darn good about this top lane matchup and not feeling threatened by it. Because without the Doran shield, you're losing a lot of regen, but you are able to stack that tier sooner and sooner to get the Fimbulwinter, which is such a good item for pretty much any tank that has mana.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that Fimbulwinter item is insanely good and going to be really important to that point we were talking about of just these tanks being able to survive insanely long in these team fights, being able to get that shield every single time you even if every time you slow, snare, knock up, root, those all sound like things that Maokai does, is insanely good.
Yeah, definitely. We could see just trades going back and forth. And pretty much exactly what we expected with the bot lane there, Blitzcrank. Just going to get control of these bushes. Immediately going, I love this. You know, we always talk about how Trundle early ganks are terrifying, how he goes for buff Gromp buff in some fashion, and then ganks, immediately getting that ward down, making sure that the Trundle gank cannot actually work here. So really smart warding, really understanding what the opposing jungler is trying to do.
Yeah. Oh, wait, good hook. Posy Man's in some trouble here. Has to walk around the chompers. Gets rooted anyway. Gets that Guardian shield. Stays alive for just a little bit longer. Ignites so incredibly close. But the exhaust from Ashe is going to keep them alive. So real close, but no cigar in the bot lane.
Level up was actually really big there too, but now they are definitely on the ropes here. Trundle around though. They got a little too far forward.
Yeah, Dilly is in some trouble. Good chompers, but good flash away from the Clep defender here. Dilly is in, well, first blood goes over to Trundle.
Good look on Arrow to try and grab somebody. I feel like maybe in that situation, you just give up your life as the support and see if you can just get your AD carry out. But unfortunately, flash happened exactly as the Trundle was dodging the hook. So it didn't actually cover a lot of ground, and Dilly going down in that one. First blood to the Trundle, who needed to get off the ground early, and now has a lot of control over this map.
Yeah, and this is going to be good for Trundle too, because Kindred is going to take a while to get online here. I think they're mostly just kind of, you know, hanging out, and they're like, oh, cool, look, there are lanes here. Wow, I didn't know I could farm lanes in between doing all this jungle farming stuff. Weird.
Kindred doing Kindred things, you know.
Yeah. Hanging out. Being a wolf and a sheep.
True, I guess.
True.
True. So, like, yeah, just being a wolf and a sheep, like, I had to process that because I always just, like, forget that, one, a lamb is a sheep, and two, wolf exists.
Yeah. Kindred is both of them, not just one of them. They're kindred spirits. Da 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 da. Hey, that's a joke.
Literally. God. Okay. Anyway.
Yeah. I now have the same 200 years as Riot Games. Haha. I have cracked the code.
Anyway, junglers back and getting their first backs right now. Interesting to note, Clap Defender is going that lethal tempo, immediately getting the recurve bow. This is a carry Trundle. This is a Trundle that is going to do stuff with that early lead. So I, once again, don't mind at all Trundle taking the kill in that sense. It's going to be a really aggressive Trundle, but that is going to be a Trundle that's going to be a little bit rougher later on in the game, especially if that ultimate is not up. If the ultimate is not up, that Trundle becomes impossible to navigate in team fights. So keep your eyes on the ult cooldown as the game goes further and further, because that's going to make or break if Clap Defender can actually frontline for his team.
Yeah, and that's usually going to be a Blade of the Rune King first, so that means that he'll have that little bit of extra survivability with that life steal, right? But you know, it's really going to be important that they
can hit somebody.
Yeah. Jeez. Hits him 3 times, then he definitely will be able to stick on top of target here. So once again, it's this Trundle is going to be rather squishy for the next a little bit of time, and really the only way they're sticking in these fights is that they are able to stick to their targets.
Yeah. Early scuttle grab here. Looking like it might go over to Kindred. No smite though. Means Clap Defender's
looks like
actually
it's going
gonna
over
get
to Clap Defender.
You know what? Just why do I try?
Yeah, why? Why do we even? We're just gonna go silent for the next 5 minutes. They'll figure stuff out.
Yeah, you guys can figure out your own analysis, because I
Caster's
clearly
muted.
can't. Yeah, I'm clearly terrible at my job. Deity now, just gonna keep fighting. Just stop going top lane. Direct to camera. No one cares.
Yeah, direct to camera is a top lane main. Is the meme we always say, because direct to camera just likes going into the top lane for some reason. Like whenever there's nothing
They're technically
to do, it's
hitting
just
each other.
Yeah.
A lot. It's just it also means nothing. Like they can't contextualize the fact that damage is being done and it means nothing. They just see damage being done and the computer brain see number and go top.
Yeah. Computer brain go brrr.
Yeah.
Brrr,
Meanwhile, mid lane, Zuri actually doing a really good job here so far, farming in this lane. Zir can be really annoying as a low range mage to deal with. Top lane, Clap Defender showing up here. Deity a little low.
Yeah, Deity in some trouble here. Going to use Twisted Advance to avoid this R2 there, but still not enough. Clap Defender's going to continue this rampage across the map. 2 kills now.
Yeah, really good stuff.
Wait. Arrow cross here. Really good knock up there into the Chompers combo. Pansy Man in some trouble again. Gonna immediately pop the cleanse, but they can't quite get to Pansy Man in time. He's gonna be able to get away here, chug some pots, and finally back, but there's still no kill for the Jinx in the bot lane yet.
Yeah, but it does mean that there's not going to be anybody for this dragon now, and with the mid lane being even and bot lane being completely in control for TA Divine, that means they're going to get this first dragon at about 8.5 minutes. Not the earliest dragon in the world, but still, when you have somebody like the Kindred as your jungle, getting a dragon at this point, getting first dragon is actually pretty big. It gives you a lot of momentum that you usually would not have on a champion that is more focused on scaling than early game ganking.
Yeah, not to mention this ocean drake is going to be really good for helping this Maokai kind of survive in this top lane as well, because once again we're starting to see it right now, and it really comes online and really becomes apparent when that Bomby Cinder gets built, that this Braum does this Orange does a whole lot of damage. Oh, Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Okay.
Swing and a miss.
Yeah, swing and a miss. Yeah, Braum does why do I keep saying Braum? Ornn does a lot of damage. He hurts. And so even though Maokai has Grasp, has that passive in order to heal, because he started tier instead of a shield, doesn't really have as much health regeneration as you would probably like on a champion like that. Especially with how much damage that Ornn does, having that extra missing HP regeneration from the Ocean Drake going to be really useful.
There's also the fact that there are no tank items being built on this Maokai outside of the cloth armor and the ruby crystal right now, compared to the fully completed Bomby Cinder, Null Magic and the cloth armor. So like, this is at this point in the game, this Ornn is so much more tanky than Maokai, because Maokai has just been opting into stats that do not directly affect how tanky Maokai is. It just affects how much he can actually use his abilities and how quickly he can use them in a row.
Yeah, and even though that's good for the tier stacking for the Fimbulwinter, it's not so great for the lane, as you probably would have guessed from all the other folks who build tier. Makes trading really, really difficult with not having those combat stats there. But, you know, this is a team that's looking to go later. You know, if this game goes late, you know, Kindred is going to scale much harder than the Trundle, Jinx as well. And, you know, Blitzcrank just becomes an impossible tank later on in the game that just has a lot of, this just does a lot of real good CC.
He does a lot of blitzing and cranking.
Yeah.
It's my
Well,
favorite.
that's the,
It's my
yeah.
favorite part when he said it's blitzing time.
My favorite part of League of Legends is when Blitzcrank looks at the camera and just goes, "I'm gonna crank."
Oh my god. Okay.
Oh god, he's cranking.
Oh yeah, he's about to crank right now.
Oh
if they
yeah,
stick
dude,
around.
oh yeah, bro, he's gonna crank.
Yeah. Well, they were looking to crank, could not get the crank off as bot lane backed away for No Quarter Gaming. That is just going to be, you know, continual just growth here in terms of gold for No Quarter Gaming. They're just continuing to scale up, waiting for their time. The level 6s are here. I feel like this next dragon can be so influential, and if not this one, the one after that one, because you're looking at a dragon that then has unlocked teleports. Depending on how quickly this dragon gets, it could be a huge 5v5 team fight.
Yeah. And this is really, really good for TA Divine here. Ooh, wait a minute. Shurima Shuffle looking for Zui in the mid lane here. Pops that ultimate, going to be able to heal, but it's not good enough to get through Guster Posey here, who's now trying to collect that mark on a Clap Defender, doing a whole bunch of damage, but only going to take them to about half here as they walk away, finally putting themselves on the scoreboard. Kindred picks up a kill.
Kindred got the kill, was not on a mark, so unfortunate about that, but did get the kill regardless. Money does a lot for Kindred too. And then you're also looking at a really good shuffle from Sir Emby to get the Swain down low enough and right into the waiting arms of the Kindred. At this point in time, with no stopwatch, it's not easy to survive as the Swain when you are already about half health.
Yeah. I mean, this is looking to be a lot better for the team. They look like they're down in gold right now. It's really only a difference of 100 at this point, but this is insanely good for TA Divine right here. This is exactly what they want. This is exactly what every late game scaling comp wants. Just an easy time early game, right? They've received a cup. Trundle has gotten 2 kills under the belt, and that's not exactly ideal, but you know, it could be worse. You know, there could be a lot more kills from this Trundle here. There could be, you know, a lot more lanes significantly losing. But as it stands, you know, this early game is insanely good for a team that wants to scale. Is now Arrowcross looking for the hook, not going to land here, but that Nature's Grasp is. Sui's going to be pulled back in. That's Enchanted Crystal Arrow landing on top of the Jinx there, but not going to keep them alive. Guster Posey finds the kill onto the Swain there. Here comes the Ornn Horn coming across the team. R2 knocks them up into the air, so they're not going to re-engage here. Flashing away from the Ornn, going to give them some safety. Sir NB looks for the Shurima Shuffle, but the Fire Breath is going to make him unstoppable.
Oh, no.
But now they're starting to fall. Azir's going to be the first, and there's going to be the Kindred ultimate to answer here. They might be able to turn this around. It's so incredibly close. These HP bars are low. Super Mega Death Rocket is not available, but both these teams are going to slowly back away here. And I think just with positioning, the blue team can go for this Cloud Drake right now.
Yeah, should be able to. They have the Trundle pretty easily, can get in there. And with the Ashe as well, they have the damage, so they should be able to pick it up. A good turnaround there. Unfortunate, honestly, if Zui had that ult ready just a little bit sooner, that could have been a major Swain ult to help buy so much time for the rest of the team. You saw how they basically went even in that fight, if not won it, even without Zui being able to ult for a decent amount of time. Imagine if that Swain had been going from the beginning of the fight. That would have been a completely different fight. Meanwhile, though, they do get the dragon after that, and they are going to be able to get a shove and back away here pretty easily. And get a nice timer on their resets, except for Ashe, who got a little scared of the cranking time.
Oh, it's cranking time.
Sometimes you're a little worried when you see somebody about to crank their hog, you know?
Yeah. There's only one thing I love more than cranking my hog, and that's my wife. God. You know,
But
sometimes you're the blitz, other times you're the crank. And when you're the crank, you got to be cranking.
Top lane, just back to farming time. But important to note, TPs are going to be unlocked for these next fights. So This is when things start to get a little interesting. If these TPs are timed together, they can just show up together. They can show up just kind of a little separately. Top lane
Horn in some
fighting.
trouble here. Mundare taking a whole lot of damage here.
Kraken.
Ooh, Kraken Slayer coming in huge there. Sir Envy going over the wall with that little dash there. As Kindred continues to find kills, but not really having a whole lot of marks. So I do want to take a look at that real quick. Only
I think it's
one
just
mark
one,
on the Kindred.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to a degree, there's only so much you can do. You hope to go someplace, you don't always end up there.
Ooh, Shurima Shuffle. Clap Defender's in some trouble here. Finally, Guster Posey puts themselves in that 2-mark area. Going to be able to find that kill there. Flashes out of the Swain ultimate, and now we might be looking at a 1-for-1 down the bot lane here. Zero Arrow Cross here. Taken incredibly low here. Muzzra trying to run for their life, but the minions are way too good. Tights backwards. There goes the E for a little bit of extra vision, trying to make sure they can't get away. There it is. Muzzra picks up the kill in the bot lane. It ends up being a 3-for-3 across the map. And yeah, the blue team continues. This game continues to be pretty even across the board here.
Yeah, but that scares me because TA Divide should not be winning these fights at this point in the game. It really should be more no quarter. Really good Swain ult from Zooey that time, but unfortunately the shuffle under the tower, Clap Defender just did not have anything that could be done at that point. Just a little bit too far forward, a little bit of a disrespect on the ultimate from the Azir, and then Guster Posey doing a lot of damage. 5 kills on this Kindred. Everything on this team right now is built around this Kindred, whereas you look at the opposite side, No Quarter Gaming, they have the shield bow ready on that Ashe. They have the Leandries on the Swain. Their gold is spread a lot more evenly. If one wrong move, you just end up with Guster Posey going down, that can change a fight massively. It's just very difficult to do.
Dilly in some trouble here. Going to throw down those chompers, trying to give themselves some space. Might be able to get it, but Pansy Man sticking to this Jinx like glue. Going to be able to pick up that kill down in the bot lane there. As now this is the first time that the blue team is really able to shove into this turret. But Guster Posey and Cross looking for the kill here. Going to be able to get the grab, the knock up as well. Clap Defender in some trouble now as Guster Posey continuing to jump forward. Not going to be able to get as much damage as they'd like onto this turret to scare them off a little bit more.
Yeah, a bit of a weird flash there from Arrow. I don't think you're going to be able to kill the Trundle at this point in time. And he does not have any, like, he does not have a Bomby Cinder. He's not going to, like, start tanking tower if you hit him. So smart on Clap Defender to just back out. Don't hit the Blitz and keep yourself pretty safe there. And just do not have the capability to kill Trundle at this point unless he literally is just stuck against this Kindred.
Yeah, for sure is. We're finally seeing Deity able to 1v1 Mundare up here in this top lane. And that's really important now that this you know, Maokai has no fear for the Forge God here. All you need is that Sunfire Aegis there. Really, really strong. Look at how much damage this does. Look at that. Throw a sapling at him.
Oh my god.
Oh, he's going for the turret dive. Deity showing that godlike status. Gonna pick up that kill up in the top lane there. As yeah, that's a really good. That's actually really, really good here because now they can shove in that top wave. Maybe take some attention away from this jungle here. As
Nice
really good
escape. Yeah, really, really good dash away. Top lane, Deity, honestly doing really well. The extra ability to use your casts more and more with that cooldown reduction on the boots. TP on the bot side.
Ooh, yeah, that's going to be a good... Oh, it's cranking time, baby. Clap Defender taking real low here. That's going to be the Kindred ultimate coming across here. Dilly's going to be saved for just a little bit, but look at how much damage Swain is doing. Triple kill. Make that 4. Can they get the old man 5? The bird demon comes through. Can he get it? He's so incredibly close. Get it! Pentakill! Zooey comes through huge! 5 kills, clean ace! Blue team picks up another Drake to boot! Holy moly, what a team fight!
Yeah, that fight started off really good for TA Divine there. They just ended up with a unfortunate Kindred ult there. The burst damage came down, but Guster immediately had to use that Kindred ult to stay alive. Unfortunately, that gave Swain time to AoE damage everybody. There was everybody getting hit by that Swain ultimate, and when the actual Kindred ult popped and everybody got the health back, they're all already burning. Swain is full health, ready to go, and you end up with the Ashe coming in late, full health as well, you're going to end up losing that fight. So what started off really, really good, just a little bit of either miscommunication or just inability to get Guster in the right spot costs them majorly.
Yeah, not to mention that, now this Swain has 2 completed items here. Rylai's Crystal Scepter and a Leandri's as well. This is a whole lot of damage that's going to be hard to avoid, especially if you're, especially if you're trying to play around that Kindred now as Deity. In some trouble in the top lane, Enchanted Crystal Arrow. That's going to be Nature's Grasp coming across as well, but that's got to be nowhere to go. This tree is rooted down and toppled over as Trundle picks up another kill.
Yeah, and now Trundle actually starting to get a little beefy here. Zui in maybe a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, Zui might be a little trouble. That's a whole lot of burst damage right there. Shut down for Guster Posey. Gonna pick up another mark as well, but look at this.
Yeah.
They saw the entire team in the bot lane, and now they're just sneaking Baron. There's no vision on this right now. Oh, they know.
The damage. Yeah, they can't do it.
Yeah, okay. It looks like they were scouted out by a blue trinket placed by Jinx. Yeah, okay.
Important note to update here. Guster has actually hit that 4-stack mark. So Kindred now, ooh, very nice.
Yeah.
There. Kindred has hit the 4-stack mark, is starting to actually become a problem, has that extra range, and we'll just keep scaling with every stack here onwards. So scaling is starting to hit. I feel like TA Divine, the fact that they lost that most recent fight, I don't think is indicative of what the composition is really turning into. I think that was a bad fight just out the gate because Guster Posey was not ready for that fight. But you look at the overall team, and once they actually start grouping, the damage is going to start to fall off here. Trundle will be a nice boon with the Lethal Tempo and the Blade of the Ruin King. It's not going to last. Eventually, you are going to have to come to fight what you have wrought, and that is the 6-1 Kindred currently. And this Jinx will eventually do damage, I promise you. Just needs a little bit more time and maybe a couple kills gifted over.
Yeah, it's just interesting because it looks like the second item is going to be that Lord Dominic's Regards, I think. Man, that must be a really upsetting second item. Oh no. Oh, they might have found Clap Defender here. That's going to be the hostile takeover coming across here.
Good
oh
flash.
No, I think Kindred might actually kill each. Oh, had to pop that ultimate there to stop Dilly from killing Guster Posey there, but now they're coming over the wall. Looking for the kill, not going to be able to find it. As now, Pansy Man knocked into the air, double kill for the Azir, but now Mundere looking for Dilly on the backside here, but has nowhere to go. Blocked up by that Emperor's Divide here, is now going to fall as well. Dilly's going to get another kill for themselves as Mount Muzzra is going to be the main target. Shut down for Sir Envy, and a triple kill for the Azir as well, as now Swain is the only member left on the enemy team, but he's going for it. He's got that ultimate. They're inside the pit. He's going to get pulled in. There's the burst damage here. Can he survive this? No, he can't.
They can't do this.
They have to leave. They have to leave. Oh, no, they're still going.
Yeah, no,
they're
okay.
still
Dilly
going.
actually has the damage. Kraken Slayer with Deity holding off the Baron is going to be enough, but man, it did not feel good. It felt a little scary for a second.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, once again, because you look at the build, Zui not having that stopwatch, I get why you want the Rylai's. It's really good. I don't think you need to worry about people getting away from you with this composition. I feel like you have the capability to get in there. You have not only your Ghost, you also have Shirelia's. I don't think the Rylai's is needed here, but the stopwatch is influential in keeping you alive and being a little bit more of a tanky threat in that backline there. You have the stopwatch there. I think you really turn a major tide in that, and you keep them from getting the Baron. You keep them from doing anything else. I really just don't like the Rylai's build here.
Yeah, for sure. As now we're taking stock of where we're at, about 25 minutes into this game with Baron up. No, TA Divine here looking to start grabbing some of these turrets. Are going to be able to do so in the top lane here, as well as poke some damage onto this mid wave. But it looks like the next big prize is going to be this Drake that's spawning in about 5 seconds here. And it's looking pretty good for the red squad with 3,000 gold up over their lane, over their opponents, and also some Baron buff to boot.
Yeah, important to note here, this is now Soul Point going over to No Quarter Gaming, so they are going to be very, very looking forward to. They're giving away some map pressure here, and, you know, probably to be expected to a degree. They are going to lose it just because of Baron, right?
Yeah.
There's no real world in which you're keeping these alive for too long. But I think, honestly, I would take that trade here. Knowing that I had already lost Baron, I would probably trade some of these towers to get that soul point, because you feel like there's a way to win fights here. You've been able to win fights. You've gotten in the right spot. You've taken out Guster multiple times. He is not some kind of unkillable god. It is just all about starting it on the right foot, and one more good fight will give them the Hextech soul and really help them get back into this game.
Yeah, for sure. And I think the difference between going to defend your turrets and picking up Soul Point is the difference between making a play that will put you in a position to win the game or making a play that makes you not lose the game. And those two things are really different, right? And and by putting themselves on Soul Point, now in 4 minutes, they have to fight. In 4 minutes, the two teams have to fight each other, and that Baron is not going to be there, right? They'll have to choose between going to Baron or going to fight the Drake, which maybe even the blue team is just like, yeah, let him have the Drake. We don't care. We're going to go grab Baron.
Yeah, it gives you a lot of flexibility, whereas Tia Divine are basically stuck here. Pansy Man hanging out in this bush. They do not know.
Oh, yeah, that's already a lot of damage on the Deity here. Forced to flash away from that Enchanted Crystal Arrow here, but that Nature's Grass going to do a real good job. I think Guster Posey is just picking up like a random, stray mark on this particular camp here, and I think that's just going to set them just a little bit farther ahead now. I think they're on 5 marks total. 7. Okay. That's huge.
We are definitely, it is 3 marks after. It is every 3 marks, I believe, that are huge break points from then on, if I remember correctly. Someone who knows Kindred better can correct me on that if they're... No.
Someone get Space Ghost in here. Space Ghost, Carrie, how you doing?
Yeah.
You're the one Kindred player I know. How many marks is good? Like with 7, what's that like?
I unfortunately just don't know enough about this champion. I love Kindred to death. Their aesthetic is wonderful, but man, I just do not know how to play it. Regardless, Dragon going to be spawning 2.5 minutes. Baron in 2. These are going to be very closely spawned together. And like you said, that whole rigmarole of dealing with, do we fight Dragon, do we fight Baron, is on TA Divine's plate. It is cooking right now. They are waiting for it to cool down, and they may have to just eat their words and eat their own decisions that they have made earlier this game.
Yeah, I mean, this is really good for TA Divine right here. I mean, we talk about flexibility, right? But I think both teams rather have that kind of flexibility, right? Like TA Divine just have so much more room to work with that they have a lot more decisions to make as opposed to just seeing, okay, Baron or Dragon, right? At this point, they're like, oh, I mean, we could just give up. I don't think they're going to give up the Dragon Soul, but being able to force in a lot of these lanes and have these lane pushes be a lot more meaningful than they would before after that huge Baron push is really, really important to this next team fight here because, you know, the blue team could be losing damage onto inhibitor turrets.
Yeah, and that is very hard to come back from, right? You're looking at really, really hard to come back from events. If your inhibitor's open, you always got to be scared that a split push could really ruin your day. And this is a Azir with teleport would be capable of just split pushing and TPing into a fight if needed. Dragon control being taken right now by TA Divine. This is what their Baron has gotten them. They may have lost the Dragon in the process, but the Baron gave them that push, gave them that capability to get in that mid lane, and they do get the first pass at Dragon Vision here. Looking like some of it's going to get cleared out, but it's not going to be all of it, and it still does mean TA Divine will be in control of this area, and it is up to No Quarter to face check it.
Yeah. And take a look at this mid lane right here. Maokai shoving it out as much as he can. He has been doing a real good job of shoving out these waves right now, and he's knocking on the front door. You know, you have to be able to respect damage onto your inhibitor turrets as well. So just shoving out these waves here, putting some damage onto the mid lane, hopefully pulling some attention away from this Drake right now as it spawns in about 7 seconds. This is going to be the next big fight.
Yeah, but because of how they've rotated, TA Divine actually give up the pit here. It means they have to go for the engage themselves. Arrow capable of doing it, but now there is Deity.
Ooh, yeah, good Nature's Grasp and a good Blitz Crank hook here. R1, R2 comes across, left defender. Ooh, that's 2 members of the red team already down here as they're continuing to fight. Zui, so incredibly powerful as Sir Envy is the only damage dealer left on the team. Deity left to live, left to survive. But how good is this life if everyone is wailing? I mean, he's living for so long. Jesus. Jiminy Jilliker, Zui picks up an ace for themselves, and now Dragon Soul goes over to No Quarter Gaming.
Yeah, the Swain is so very strong right now, and with that ultimate up, he is almost unkillable. Zui doing such a great job, has the 2-minute long ghost going, and will just be the Dragon Soul going into then the Baron. It looks like they're actually not going to make the call for the Baron here. They don't want to risk it. Death timer's a little bit too low, and the damage just not entirely there. I can respect that. I think you get what I'm always a fan of taking the win and getting out and not over indexing yourself, because that is how so many games are lost. When you start getting momentum back, you're feeling yourself, you're feeling good, you start something up right after you win a fight, and you don't realize death timers are too short.
Yeah, now Aerocross looking for a hook over the wall, but not going to be able to find it just quite yet. But both teams are starting to get around this Baron buff right now. Important to note that a lot of these members of the red team just kind of came directly here, right? And I gotta say, the worst thing to do in League of Legends, or the worst thing to happen to you in League of Legends, is dying, respawning, going back, not getting any farm, not getting any gold, not getting any experience, and then dying again. So you have to be very careful here. Okay, Deity crashing in, just wasting no time. They have to keep their eyes open, because that's going to be the Swain ultimate right after. We've seen this before. This has happened once before. Two kills for the Swain. The Emperor's Divide is going to keep Dilly alive for just a little bit longer, but look at that burst damage coming down for the rest of the team here. Ace again for the blue team, and this one is clean. No deaths on their side, and now they get free pickings at the Baron.
And this is kind of the paradox that you deal with Swain, is like you want to engage on him, but then you need to disengage because he is ulting. You do not want to fight him after you start fighting him, and then you back away, let the ult die, and then continue back in. That was not done. That was then a full engage, Deity going so very far, and then Guster Posey popping the ult, just once again giving so much free health to that Swain. The Kindred, it feels like a Kindred counter at this point.
Yeah, as now we are just getting so close to the end of the game here, even though the only inhibitor open is the mid lane, and there's still so many outer turrets here. They have the Hextech Drake buff. So now it's going to be a lot harder to kind of fight the blue team here with Dragon Soul and with all these ornaments here. You know, this gold says that they're only 1.3 thousand gold in the lead, but what might actually be is 5,000 gold and 6,000 gold in the lead, because there's just 4 ornaments on their team right now, and they just need one more level up, and it will be at that 6,000 mark. So it's insanely powerful how much gold they have, and how much farther ahead the blue team seem than what the stats are telling us.
Absolutely, yeah. You look at it being so close, it's just such a misnomer. Now they are getting a little bit caught off guard here as the Asher will hit. Nope.
Oh, Guster Posey might have gone back in a little too soon here. Knocked up by the R2 here. Pops down that Kindred ultimate. Nature's Grass coming across as well, but Deity going to be knocked into the air. Can't be healed by much, and they're going to go down 2-0 for No Quarter Gaming here, as now they just get to march back down the other side of this mid lane and maybe look to end the game.
The desperation is palpable here for TA Divine. They saw their opportunity to try and push this inhibitor tower, but the backs came just in time. There were some people able to respond, and because they just second guessed it, Guster Posey goes down, and that may end up costing them the game.
Yeah, as now Trundle pulled in. Clap Defender taken incredibly low. Super Mega Death Rocket comes across, but the damage from the turret is going to knock them down. As now Zooey in the ultimate going to keep them alive for just a little bit longer. Goes Golden, tries to heal up, but it's going to be pulled in by the Blitzcrank here. Dilly and Aerocross are full HP, but you want to know what isn't? It's the Nexus. Game number 1. No Quarter Gaming goes 1-0 in this best of 5 to start out.
No Quarter Gaming with a bit of a rocky start to that game, but ended up coming out so much further ahead. The Swain felt like such a good pick in regards to that Kindred, and there was no answer for it. Just every time that Kindred ult was popped, it was just more blood for the Blood God for Swain, and he just completely ran over everybody at that point. I don't feel like they can really pick this Kindred if the Swain is being played at this point.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we kind of questioned early on where the damage was coming from. You know, there's a lot of like half damage dealers on this team, maybe even drain tanks and bruisers, but not like a clear damage dealer. And we're glad we saw it through with Zooey and Clap Defender here. The folks with some of the biggest damage numbers on their team, 23,000 for Trundle, 34,000 for the Swain as well. Like, this is insane numbers right here. And you got to shout outs to No Quarter for playing around that Swain ultimate so well.
I honestly believe if that one fight had gone differently and Swain had not gotten that pentakill, it would have been a completely different game. That Swain would have nowhere near the amount of damage for fights. The turnarounds that happened with those Swain ults and Kindred ults interacting with each other would have been a lot less of a problem. And then you see them, maybe Guster can keep carrying. Unfortunately, that one fight just gave such an influx of gold to the exact person it needed to go to at that point, and it turned around so much of that game.
Yeah, for sure. But with that, we are going to take just a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to be in picks and bans of game number 2 of No Quarter Gaming versus TA Divine. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Zero Gravity Gaming Plat Playoffs, round number 1, quarterfinals. My name is Shinkari. I'm joined by Thousand Eyes, and here we are in game number 2 of a TA Divine versus No Quarter Gaming. We do have a side swap here, so TA Divine is going to be on the blue side. No Quarter Gaming is going to be on the red. If you're joining us for the first time, No Quarter Gaming was able to pick up game number 1 after what seemed like a TA Divine was slowly winning the game. No Quarter Gaming made a bunch of plays to make sure that they were in a position to win, made 2 solid team fights back-to-back at Dragon and Baron, and gave themselves an avenue to victory. And now, here we are, game number 2. Thousand, what do you think TA Divine needs to do, starting with the draft, in order to turn this into a dub?
Yeah, I mean, already we're seeing a little bit of changes here. The Renata being banned away this time. The Swain, I think, is the big one. I was going to say it would be a little weird to ban the Swain or ban the Renata and not the Swain, because while Renata was good, I feel like the issue really, like, usually there are times where you can point out and say, well, the numbers, like, this person got a lot of kills, but the problem was actually like the support or the tank or whatever. This time it was the person getting kills. It was the Swain. So it makes a lot of sense to ban that away. They're still going to take that Maokai. I like that. I just really want to see Deity kind of reel it in a little bit for team fight engages, because while the laning phase was pretty good, we saw a solo kill on the Maokai, which was great. The engages felt really forced and really overreaching. So I'd like to see it back off just a little bit and be ready for a little bit more of a team, a full-on team fight instead of trying to make those picks. This time though, No Quarter Gaming going for the Sivir Karma. That's going to be hard to catch up to.
Yeah, I mean, this is a really good team composition. I think it's mostly a tale as old as time, but I think Karma wasn't the original, one of the original 40 here. So this is a really good combination and rather potent as well, especially if Karma wants to go the extra mile and pick up that Shirelia's battle song, which I don't think they will, but it's still on the table here, and it pairs really well with a bunch of junglers on the table right now. Pairs really well with Hecarim, with Udyr, Master Yi, a lot of very strong meta junglers right now. Bel'Veth is also on the table as well. There's a lot of junglers that benefit from having the 2 of these big AoE movement speed boosts.
Yeah, the Bel'Veth was banned away by No Quarter, so this time around it is technically available. I don't think TA Divine are really going to want to go for it. The Jinx Lulu here does not give me the idea that a Bel'Veth is going to be like really, really good. You want like a lot of lockdown. You really want to get like an Alistar alongside that Maokai, or just like something that can keep people in place so Bel'Veth can do her job. The Lulu seems like they're trying to focus a little bit more on Jinx being able to get what she needs to do done. Looks like our top lane matchup going to be exactly the same. Going to be the Maokai versus the Ornn. Definitely looked good for Deity, at least in the laning phase. Bot lane already too, just very, very different. We're going to be getting the Lulu with that Jinx and getting just a little bit more shielding, a little bit more passivity than the Renata can be. And then the Sivir Karma has so much wave clear, so much pressure, where we saw the Blitz and the Jinx do really well last game. The pressure is just not going to be there, and the wave clear is going to be too strong. This is a game where Jinx is going to get shoved in.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is going to be really tough for the Jinx here. I mean, they have the Lulu, who should be able to help them shove in as much as possible, especially with help picks, especially because that's usually what we see a lot of Lulu players maxing first. But you know, it's just going to be tough. Jinx can't exactly just spam her Q in order to wave clear anymore. The mana costs on her rockets were reverted back to their kind of previous points here. So now they can put a bunch of points into the rockets, but it'll still cost a decent chunk of mana in these early levels here, in order to actually get that wave clear. And now there's a new champion in quotes, Syndra being locked in here.
Yeah, so Syndra, major changes this patch, is now much less of a lane bully and much more of a scaler. Belveth being hovered is going to be locked in. Okay, this is actually a little bit surprising to me because I don't feel like this composition is capable of working with Belveth. I'm not a fan of this Belveth pick. I wish that I was because I think Belveth is cool as hell. But when you're up against something like Sivir Karma, how are you ever catching people? How are you ever reaching? Like a Lulu move speed is not going to counteract the Karma Sivir running away from you at full speed. And then Maokai Syndra is just not enough lockdown. Regardless, we are seeing Katarina picked up in response to the Syndra. Now, remember, Syndra is much more of a scaler now. She is not the same lane bully that she used to be. That wave clear is not the same level that it used to be either. Katarina, to me, sounds like a pretty darn good matchup after the rework.
Yeah, I mean, this is also getting Brennan excited because Brennan only plays one champion. So, and there it is. There it is right there.
M or the L.
Yeah. This is going to be a pretty interesting matchup. You know, the new Syndra is definitely really, really cool. Her stacking mechanic is pretty easy to stack up and really easy to do here. So, you know, we could see Syndra getting that full, 15% bonus AP at the end of that whole stacking thing as well pretty soon. And but Katarina, is pretty good and spikes. I think I would imagine that at that first Nashor's Tooth, right? Just because how much on-hit damage that ultimate does.
Yeah, I think honestly, I like the cat pick a lot. I think Syndra, like we said, it's hard to put into words because we have only really known Syndra as like a lane bully mid-game power spike burst champion. That is not what she does anymore. She does not do that. She is a scaler fully and completely. You need to get those splinters in order to become a champion, and that's not going to happen until a good bit into the game. Now, you will be able to get a good more splinters off the Katarina on the Syndra than you would be against another ranged champion. It's still not easy. It's still not fun. And once that level 6 happens, it becomes really difficult to get anywhere near the Katarina without risking your life. So this definitely is not going to be a fun time for Syndra, and I'm excited to see this Katarina pop off because it is one that Zooey is very comfortable on.
Yeah, it's going to be really tough here because honestly, I think this Katarina might end up being rather similar to the Swain in a way for the team composition here. If you're looking to kind of build everyone up to kind of knock everyone down with one big kind of ultimate button, then Katarina is going to be the one to do it. It's similar to the Swain. Now, granted, it'll be a lot shorter, but it is still a big circle that do the AP damage. So that's my comparison.
Yeah.
Look, I said it, and then I started speaking more and elaborating on it, and then it didn't make any sense. And so, sometimes you just have to double down on your.
Sometimes you know what? When it was your fault, you have to tell everyone on the team it was the other player's fault.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, of course.
It's never take blame. Never take blame. Because that's showing weakness, and that's the last thing you want to do in League of Legends.
Yeah.
Regardless, overall, I like TA Divide's draft. I just in a vacuum, I think it's pretty decent. I just don't like the Belveth. I feel like if they had something, like the Trundle here, I think the Trundle obviously was banned, but like something like that, something that has more of an early game presence, something that has maybe just kind of a way to be in the front there, because having Maokai alone frontline for this whole team, I don't think works. Not when you are going up against the powerhouse that is just this front line of Ornn, Volibear with a Sivir Karma backline. Like there is no way you are able to either get away, get on top of them, or really kill them in this like kind of mid game area, because those stats on those tanks are going to be so obnoxious.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the biggest thing for me is that I think you're right, and maybe with an Udyr Belveth, with an Udyr instead of the Belveth, that we're able to kind of do that, right? And plus, being able to be whimsied as an Udyr as well as probably be really good in Udyr is in Guster Posey's play history as well, and so maybe that's a bit of a better pick. But I think we're getting into a lot of. I don't want to go too much further before we get into, well, maybe this pick would have been better or that pick would have been better, because that's getting into the weeds, and I don't think you ever leave those weeds whenever you start talking about what pick would have been better.
Yeah, I mean, there's always going to be hindsight 2020, like, oh yeah, well, of course the Kindred was a bad pick into the Swain. Why would you ever think that it would be good? But there's like, you can always kind of like flip things around. There's going to be a lot of other opportunities for different kinds of things. But now we take a look, just overall, I really like No Quarter's composition here. Silver Karma is always one that I can get behind. I think as a composition, any composition that has those two champions can really work. The more bruisers you put into that, the more tanky, frontline damagey threats you put on that, the better, just because of that is their weakness, right? And you're giving them move speed on top of move speed on top of move speed. I mean, hell, put a Shirelias on top of that, and it's just impossible to run away from people. So, and the best part about that too is that it is very easy to execute. So, No Quarter Gaming, I think, looking really, really strong. There's always the pop-off moments from Bel'Veth that can occur. People miscalculate how much damage she's going to take during her E. Syndra is still a new quantity that we don't fully understand, because she is essentially, from a matchup perspective, an entirely different champion. Mechanically, she plays exactly the same, but outside of when she has the stacking Q now. But from a mechanical standpoint, you're going to play her very similarly. Matchup wise, everything has changed, and people are going to have to relearn that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the last thing I'll say about TA Divine's kind of comp here, especially with the Bel'Veth, I think my only hiccup here is not that they won't be able to play around the Bel'Veth very well, but usually when you have a team that wants to go late, usually you have some sort of way of like facilitating the early game, right? Bel'Veth doesn't exactly do that as a jungler, and Lulu doesn't really do that as a support. Lulu wants to scale, Syndra wants to scale, Jinx wants to scale, Bel'Veth wants to scale, and even Maokai, the way that we saw Deity play Maokai in the previous game, wants to scale. If your whole team wants to scale, then you're probably going to want just like the easiest time in the early game here. But you're not going to get that up against a Volibear jungle, a Karma Sivir bot lane who has poke for days, and an Ornn who actually has really solid base damage early, as well as a Katarina who's going to pop off with one item.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult. There's going to be a very large power trough that they need to get through in order to make their composition work, and I'm not certain how well it's going to go. There is always the opportunity, right? There's always the chance that they just can't take advantage of it. They don't find the picks they need. They don't get enough of a lead, and eventually Syndra Jinx become unstoppable monsters, and the Bel'Veth going crazy on top of all that. Like there is such a good late game in terms of just damage. All of these champs scale incredibly well. It's just, are you actually going to get there? And I don't think there is a very likely chance they do.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you as well. I mean, it's going to be really hard to disengage from this team. I think the best chance that they got is like throwing out the Nature's Grasp and hoping that it hits multiple targets instead of just like a well-coordinated, like, hey, we're going to have one person grab one or two, or even two people grab the roots, and then we're just going to walk through it. But there's not really a whole lot of other peel outside of that. You know, Lulu is saving that wild growth for Jinx. Syndra can only scatter the weak on so many people, right? She has to hit them with the balls as well. So, you know, there's only so much they can do in order to stop this team from just collapsing on top of them here. So that's really going to be what to watch out for here as we get closer to this mid game, where TA Divine starts to really hit their stride, starts to really become champions here, and then we start getting some real fights, because, you know, if the early game goes in the favor of No Quarter Gaming, it's going to be really, really tough for TA Divine to get back into this.
Yeah, definitely. I think they're going to be crossing their fingers, crossing their T's, dotting their I's, trying to make sure they can get there.
Yeah, but with that, we're going to take just a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be on the Rift of game number 2 of No Quarter Gaming versus TA Divine. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to ZGG Plat Playoffs, Round 1 Quarter Finals, the whole shindig. I like to do the whole thing. My name is Shinkari. I'm joined by Thousand Eyes. We are on the Rift of game number 2 of No Quarter Gaming versus TA Divine here. As, No Quarter Gaming here has drafted TA Divine has drafted a very, very late game comp. And we'll see if the late game destiny can be achieved.
That is really the question here, as we're just going to get a pretty standard start overall. Seeing some backs early on. And with, looks like, ooh, okay. So check out bot lane. Muzra and Pansy Man actually getting the early bush cheese ready. Now, they are going to get a little spotted out here when they put the word down, so they should have an idea, unless they were not looking at the map, which, considering there were no pings, I don't think they were.
Yeah.
And now they're going to assume that Volibear... No, okay, they already knew. They just wanted to get that early push. I wasn't sure if it was going to be for a cheesy level 1 fight or if it was going to be for a just hard push. It seems like it's going to be the latter.
Yeah. As now... we are now having our lanes pretty standard across the map here. And yeah, this is going to be not as good of a time for Syndra here. Like you said, she lost a lot of her early power here. So we're probably going to be taking a look at that mid lane a whole lot as Katarina, once we start hitting this level 3, level 4 mark, this is going to be the Katarina show.
Absolutely, and you can see Zooey already just looking comfortable here.
God, yeah, so much damage onto Sir Envy here. And that was mostly auto attacks.
Yeah, I mean, that's just kind of what you can do here. The cooldowns on Syndra are just not capable of continuing the fight, and even with the minions, they're just continually winning out on that trade.
Yeah, I think the big thing here is that you end up playing this matchup a lot like a Tryndamere, right? Where you just kind of, because you don't rely on mana, Sir Envy here, now in some trouble. Zooey trying to get away, but Shun Pose over to Sir Envy here. Ignite is taken, but not going to be able to take them down here as the bait is good, and Guster Posey picks up first blood onto Zooey.
Just barely there, but Guster Posey in the right place, right time. And that's kind of exactly what you need there. You need that Bel'Veth to be able to get off the ground. You need her to be a problem. And getting an early kill will definitely help Tia Divine be more of a threat, although Guster may be in trouble here.
Yeah, they can't have that mid laner come down to help them here. It's all even Pansy Man is here too. Oh no, flashing forward. Clap. Pansy Man is going to be the one picking up the kill there. Yeah, okay.
That is holy moly. That's a dedication. That's good heads up. Like, you recognize, what is Jinx Lulu going to do to Sivir? Nothing. Like, you can run, you can roam, you have the extra move speed and the shield. You can just get up to that mid lane if you know that there's going to be, like, here's what I'm thinking in my brain of what happened. You see the Bel'Veth get the kill from the bot side, and you're assuming she's going to path top. You start roaming up there immediately, and then you're ready for when Clap Defender is already taking camps on that top side, and you fight.
Yeah, I mean, this is a really good comp and enemy and lane opponents for Pansy Man to just kind of be like, hey, I'm just going to, goodbye. I'll see you later, I guess. I'll just go mid lane if no action is going to happen here. But speaking of action, Dilly's going to get rooted up and powered Q onto them as well. Whole bunch of damage down there as from the top lane, Deity looking for the fight on the Mundare, but Clap Defender is here as well. Have to be careful. This is definitely looking like the bear wanted to show up. Deity now on the wrong side of this pillar, uses the Twisted Advance to try to get on top of them. Going to be able to try to get away. They're so incredibly close. Uses the Q to knock back. They're A-okay. They're safe.
Yeah, right now. And even, oh my god, even despite the roam, Pansy Man and Muzra are really able to just control this bot lane here. Like, this is just exactly what you would expect from this. Sivir Karma has always been a pretty solid lane, especially when the lethality build for Sivir was good. This, even now though, the Boomerang Blade on top of the Mantra Qs, Pansy Man just going to control this lane from start to finish, although they're looking for a gank, baby. Don't know what your setup's going to be here.
Yeah, it might just be Bel'Veth just kind of showing up, honestly. I don't think there's going to be a little bit more than that. I think they're just looping around the corner and just walking into the lane. I think it's the best option for them here, but they have to be careful. It's Volibear waiting around the corner here. I think they see them intro. They're looking for Pansy Man here. Dive in, get the knockup. There it is, flashing away. Here comes the Thunderstorm, though. Clap Defender, gonna be able to land the stun. All these blue HP bars are insanely low. They're so close, but they have the minion wave stacked up here. If they want to dive, they could go for it. Empowered Q. Oh, Arrow's Cross is so incredibly low.
Okay, Ricochet's just causing problems here. And even though that gank does not get kills, it gets what they need. Look, Dilly can't walk up for farm, cannot stop them from taking these plates, and even Guster Posey can't help. It's mid lane.
Yo,
okay, goodbye.
Oh, man. 1 minute Sir Envy was there. The next moment, they are disappeared. So they're going to go down as well. It should be noted that Sir Envy, I think, is sitting at the amount of stacks they need for that first kind of break point there. So there should be 2 stacks of their Q now. So is going to make their lives just a little bit easier in this mid lane, but they're now down. They're now down a kill and 20 CS to a Katarina, who's about to go cash in all that gold.
They are not there yet for the 2 stacks Q. It is 40, and currently Sir Envy at 29.
Oh, okay.
So you still got a little bit away. The break point that I have seen, at least in my experience messing around with it, has been about level 9. It was about when you would get those 40. And I think the speed generally increases over time because you have more Qs.
In some trouble here, gonna be taken down real quick. Clap Defender coming in from the side. Multiple ultimates spent in the top lane, but still this tree is fallen over one more time.
And this is kind of the price that you can pay with going that tier and cooldown boot start, right? You don't have that tankiness. You don't have the ability to get away. You might handle the 1v1 a little bit better, but this time Clap Defender just really being able to get up on that top side makes the tree a little bit more in danger, and deforestation will occur.
Yeah. I want one more tree champion. I feel like that would be nice to have. We have Ivern, we have Maokai, we just need one more tree.
Can you imagine if Deity just followed Ornn back to base there?
It feels like that sort of thing would have happened. Like it happened so towards the tail end. I'm convinced that that is a thing that
I would not have questioned it if it occurred.
I would have screamed. I probably would have screamed if it happened. But yeah.
But I would have known exactly what happened at least. But yeah, no, I think overall, just this top lane might get a little bit more interesting. Now, granted, Maokai is still going to be good in that 1v1, right? The items built do amplify that, but with that pressure, you have to be aware of jungle ganks. You have to be aware of where your lane is. Right now, Deity slowly starting to push this one out, and with the Volibear over on the Rift Herald right now, it could be a quick gank over after that Rift Herald is taken.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like this Rift Herald has just been taken too, so I think you're just about right. They have that Vision Ward in the River Bush there. Now Deity is in some trouble, gonna knock away Clap Defender here, but still looking to fight, doing a bunch of damage. Still, these HP bars are pretty high. Actually, Deity's, it might be actually be able to scare Clap Defender off of himself right now. Finally doing some decent damage for himself. Means that the bear is long gone.
Yeah, I think it was just a pressure gank. Clap Defender was going to back either way. Use the health bar, right? It's a resource. And they will do that. But with Clap Defender showing top, time is also a resource. And because of the ability to not get over to Dragon in time, they're going to get over and take the first Dragon. Guster Posey ends up getting that one. And a nice start here for TA Divine. They get the first Dragon where they were able to last time. This time, maybe we'll see if they can continue that presence.
Yeah, as now Sir Envy has that first breakpoint at 41 stacks here, so we'll have that multiple stacks of the queue here. So Syndra becoming online, but we, you know, it's gonna be a while before we see any big successful team fights from the blue team here, because now even Syndra is doubling down on the scaling pressure here by picking up this tier.
Yeah. And now with that, I do appreciate Clap Defender using the Rift Herald bot side. They should be able to get this tower. Even if they wouldn't get the tower, they at least get a lot of damage on it. And that will fall pretty shortly after.
Yeah, it's really close here, but I don't think they're able to cleanly get it. But this turret is looking really, really low, and if first turret is going to fall anywhere, this bot lane is probably going to be where it's happening. Is Guster Posey in some trouble here? That's going to be the Volibear ultimate coming across here. Is Guster Posey in some trouble? Zui is coming over the wall as well, but they got the Wild Growth and they got the Ghost. They got the they got the Whimsy as well. Does mean that they lose first turret here in the bot lane.
Yeah, very big to lose out on that. That is a nice chunk of gold going over to the Sivir, who's already a good bit ahead here. Take a look at gold, just about 800 gold ahead. That is almost a pickaxe difference in there. And we'll see how much of that actually plays a part here as mythics get close to being completed here. Zui not had the most impact, but has really kept pressure on this Syndra. And now as mid-game spikes hit, this is where Muzra and Zui are really going to look to start popping off, especially Zui. But it's all about that move speed. It's all about grouping up, getting that move speed down across the entire team, and just running down this Jinx and this Syndra.
Yeah, that's going to be their key to victory as we get later into this game here. They do have to be careful. I think Pansy Man might know what's up here. Or Deity, rather, is now Deity. I get tethered up. Okay, it's long. Okay.
Now, so far, you know, with Dragon being not for a couple minutes, you can have your bot lane up here. Doesn't matter. And definitely would rather have your bot lane near a turret than not. So
Yeah.
Clap Defender just once again keeping pressure on this Maokai. It's going to get a little bit harder as the Bomby Cinder comes through. Now, no objectives really to be controlled, but the jungle control is starting to come in. Look at the invades from No Quarter. They are just getting into that enemy jungle, getting vision down. They're going to know where Belveth is and what she's trying to do.
Yeah, for sure. Is now, we're looking at 13 minutes into this game, and even though we haven't gotten that many kills for the red team here, it's still gonna be rather quiet from the blues. Once again, TA Divine drafted such a late game comp that it's still going to be a very long time before we see anything kind of substantial from their team here. Even if they might have leads somewhere, which they don't, it's going to be really hard for them to really flex their muscles because their champions just kind of feel incomplete.
We do have a pause. Apparently, Zooey had a little bit of personal issues to attend to, so we're gonna just wait for a sec and get back into the game pretty quick, I'm sure. Overall, though, now taking a look at the state of the game as it is, I think it's about exactly what we expected. The only thing that we didn't expect was, I think we expected a little bit more pressure from Zooey. That early gank was really big in keeping the Syndra, at least keeping the Katarina honest in that matchup to make sure she couldn't just all in all the time. So outside of that, Volibear has been a problem. The bot lane for No Quarter has been doing wonderfully. And now we are looking at a break point here where we want to see the Dragons start to go over to No Quarter with that newfound power.
Yeah, do you have a visual bug as well? The pause after the
Yep,
pause?
Yep, that's normal. It times up perfectly, so we'll be fine. Okay. Just enjoy the freeze frame for the time being. And now
I think I might have accidentally hit P really quickly. 1350, 1351, 52.
A little ahead of me.
3.
So Dragon going to be spawning in about 40 seconds here. Teams need to start really getting into position for that. Now, 14 minutes has hit. We do have Unleashed Teleports. Both of those tanks need to be going top lane right now to make sure that they are prepared for this. I think Syndra needs to back soon too.
Yeah, it's just once again looking really tough to even walk towards these, because once again it's when you're playing these scaling comps, you can't really go for these early objectives here. Now it was more, I don't want to say it was luck, but it was really good timing that they were able to get that Cloud Drake early, which means that they don't have to worry about super fast dragon stacking from the red team here. But this will be annoying, because as we get later into the game, the ornaments is going to be something that you're going to need to keep tabs on, because it means that even in the late game, they're still going to have to contend with a lot of gold value from the red team here. In addition, if they start losing more of these Drakes, as Hex Tech Drake is going to be the soul of this map once more.
And one more time, run it back, and that is honestly a big soul for either team. Just there is so much damage. It's such high DPS characters. You'd love to be able to get it on either side. But right now, Maokai maybe a little bit too far forward. Playing with fire here.
Yeah, playing with fire. Deity is a little too far forward here, but it looks like the blue team might want to collapse here. This is a big objective for Belveth here to get a lot of lavender, but it doesn't look like they're really in a position to really contest here. All 5 members of the red team are here. I think they're just mostly like, hey, they've got all 5 members here. Let's not engage. Let's not push too much. We're still trying to scale here. Zooey might actually be in some trouble here, taking lows. That's going to be the Oranhorn coming across on a Deity here. Use that Nature's Grasp, but can't quite go anywhere. Has to flash away after getting exhausted as well. But the red team is coming around the corner, so it was just an inevitable fate, as now they're still looking for some kills on the Clap Defender and Zooey here, as it's a 3v2. They might be able to get it for themselves. As look at the bot lane. Jinx able to pick up that thing right there as Volibear tries to turn this around. Flash Shun Po looking for it. That's going to be the Wild Growth as well. Going to be able to find the kill on the Zooey. Really, really good job here, as now Mundere might be the next target here. Super Mega Death Arca comes across, but it's not going to land onto anyone. They're still looking for Mundere here, but it flashes over the wall. I think they take that every day of the week, as now their Terrell popped. Enhanced Karma Shield as well. Sir Envy looking for something. They can't quite find it. As now blue team has to now defend their turret. Red team backs away. Blue team walks away with a kill.
Yeah, that was just really deep there from No Quarter. They just got really far in, and there were only 2 champions there. They did not have the Sivir or the Karma, so it felt really weird to go that far in, especially with the turnaround presence that can be that Syndra and the Bel'Veth. If you're going into the Bel'Veth and she is ready for you, that is exactly what she wants. It takes away the fact that she needs to chase people. Guster Posey coming out, really big on that one. And you can see does now have that Blade of the Ruin King completed. And will be very, very damage heavy right now. That is such a good break point, because remember that Q does apply on hit. And will be really, really big, especially once that Kraken starts coming in later on.
Yeah, for sure. As Sir Envy has now hit the next Syndra breakpoint at 60 stacks. So now that W will be applying a little bit of true damage based off that scales off of Syndra's AP as well. So a little bit of damage onto the throw there for just a little bit more damage there. But that's not until the next breakpoint is at 80. So we'll be waiting for that.
Such a weird, it doesn't even give you the flat number. It just says an additional 17.4%. Like, I want to know how much that is. Like, regardless.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Clap Defender jumping on top is Super Mega Death Rocket goes wide one more time. But take a look at Muzzra's HP. Taken pretty low here. They might be able to find something if they're lucky. Wild Growth comes on to Guster Posey here in order to keep him alive, as the rest of the red team looking to collapse on this 4v4 right here. Deity on the side here. Still can't quite find an initiation. Okay, the red team, I think they're out of there.
Yeah, a little bit of a sketchy dive. They almost get a couple kills, but the survivability really huge there. Lulu did a great job, and Guster also just being able to frontline with that E as long as needed, and then the tower doing a lot of work to make sure they could not keep that one up. TP was burned by Mundere, so that does mean now they are really going to be trying to keep this Ornn in the vicinity for this dragon. And that really limits their opportunities, because look at Deity, able to split push here on this top side. If that dragon is not immediately taken, Deity can just keep pushing. Sir Envy also with a TP available could do the same in the mid lane. Right now, looks like we are actually just going to be getting people crashing in, trying to make something happen. Syndra TP used immediately to get into that mid lane and get a wave push here. I think that's a really smart use of that.
Yeah, as now this dragon spawning in about less than 20 seconds here. Sir Envy is in some trouble, going to use that Scatter the Weak in order to not Clap Defender away. Are you looking to engage on this? There's no way.
And just going to be the back away. Now dragon spawning here in a second.
Yep, dragon is spawned now. And now let's see how they choose to engage this fight. They're both in the red team is in the river already, so as the onus is on TA Divine here in order to get into the river, make an initiation, and fight the team, or they can go out and do something else, and that's what they're going to do here. They're going to trade the Drake for this outer mid turret here, but they have to take it fast.
Yeah, and it doesn't seem like they're going to be able to do so. Dragon has already been taken here, and I feel like this is just going to be a fight.
Yeah, that's going to be Ornhorn. Actually gets interrupted there. Volibear ultimate dives onto the back line here, and both of the damage dealers are in a whole lot of trouble. As Sir Envy goes down, Deity is now going to be the next target here. Arrowcross trying to body block as best he can, but he's going to be the next to fall there, as it's 2 for 0. They pick up the Drake, and now are they going over to Baron? No way.
Yeah, this... Unfortunately, they don't need the Ornhorn to start the fight. They can just run you down. Where a lot of other compositions might require it for the rest of the team to catch up. This time, they do not need it. They can just run people down. Muzzra very low here. Deity could just dive onto him.
Yeah, Deity diving onto the backside here, but is being focused by all 5 members of the red team here. Guster Posey is now in some trouble as they use their dash to get away, but this movement speed is way too good. Gets the stun, nowhere to go. Gets the knockup, trying to turn it around, but can't quite find it as 2 more go to fall. And now they're right back onto the Baron one more time.
Yeah, and this time I don't think it's going to get interrupted. Pretty straightforward Baron take at this point. And while I did say Deity can just go on to Muzra, it was with the expectation that the team would be ready for that and prepared. And unfortunately, while Deity went in, it was an immediate turn from all 5 members to make sure Muzra stayed alive. And the rest of TD... I cannot freaking think right now. But the rest of his team not following up on that one. And unfortunately, that just means Deity's going to die immediately, and then there's nobody to frontline from that point on.
Yeah, for sure yeah, that's kind of the big weakness of this team comp here, right? There's no other front line outside of the Maokai. And so you can't really do a traditional front to back as you'd normally like. And, usually I like to say that, Lulu is good at taking characters that build kind of half damage, half tank, and turning them into full tanks with that slow aura as well with wild growth. But man, this doesn't even seem like they can do that with Belveth here.
Yeah, it just does not feel realistic here, because what do? Nobody can be in front. And that is a very big issue that they don't have an answer to, just from a compositional standpoint. This is the worry that I had going into this game of, if your Maokai can't keep people off, what do you do?
Yeah, and especially if your Maokai goes down, that's a much bigger issue as well. And I think one thing that... Oh, wait a minute. Here we go. Volibear jumping onto the backside. Look at how much damage they just dealt to Jinx. And now Belveth is in some trouble as well, as now the blue team looking to maybe turn this around or maybe scare them off the turret. That's going to be the Twisted Advance here in the Nature's Grasp as well. But look at those flashes diving directly onto Deity here. The shield trying to keep him alive for just a little bit longer, but he's got nowhere to go. Muzra picks up another kill, 3 for 0. And now they get to continue onto the inhibitor turrets and maybe even an inhibitor as well.
Yeah, now we are seeing the absolute power of this composition. They could just run you down with the Baron on top of that. That's so many extra stats to help them out. And now Sivir can wave clear like mad. This is a absolute travesty here for Tia Divine, as they are trying desperately to hold on to their base.
Yeah, and it's going to be really, really tough. This is kind of the downside of picking a comp that scales so hard, right? You need to actually get to that point in the game. You need to be able to slow down the pace. But, No Quarter Gaming has not given them an inch to breathe. They are constantly fighting. They're constantly looking for objectives. And when it comes down to it, you try to fight a team that is doing what you're doing, but better than, you're just falling over a lot of the time.
Yeah, it's a little unfortunate. This game's starting to feel like it's basically just out of reach, because it's a little bit difficult to come back from a 6K gold deficit. Not impossible, but just when you don't really have inherent answers to what the enemy team wants to do, it doesn't really matter how much gold you're behind to a point. It does matter that you're behind in gold, but not to the same level as if you had an answer for this, right? Like,
Yeah.
It's just, what do? Just when there is a bear, an Ornn, and a Katarina running at you, you can polymorph Cat. You can root one of the either the Ornn or the Volibear, but that's really it. A Syndra stun, I guess, too. Other than that, you're just hoping for the best.
Yeah. Arrowcross here, blast coning over the wall is the best that they could hope for in that moment there, but even with Katarina looming in that side of the map right there, it's really hard to even just approach or even to think about approaching this Hextech Drake right now. But the blue team is still on this side. It looks like they're not going for the steal this time. Super Mega Death Rocket.
Just blocked, yep.
Yep. The team picks up the Hextech Drake, putting them on Soul Point and 6,000 gold in the lead. Like you said, they now have a lot of breathing room to just kind of walk down this bot lane right here. And I think this is the best lane to push right now, with Baron being the next big objective on the map. The thing that a lot of pro players actually say is like, hey, if you're playing solo queue, put pressure on the bot lane. Take away that inhibitor bot lane, because that means that the opponent now has to answer a lane that does slow pushing really easily, stacks up a lot of super minions, and is on the opposite side of the map as Baron is. It's a really good time to do so. They're now going to look for that damage here. Top defender diving onto Guster Posey here. R1, R2 going to knock Sir Envy into the air, flashing away if the Wild Growth comes through. Nature's Grasp as well. Now stuck underneath the turret. Clap defender is going to go down as Mundere is looking for a little bit more here, but now they're on hot pursuit, having to get out of here. Deity does not have that ultimate available. Flashes forward, gets the twisted advance onto Zui here. They might be able to do something. Great knock-up by Mundere here as Maokai is going to go down to Sivir. They're going to be able to find the kill on the Katarina as well. Maybe they can turn this around, but there's still so much to work with here. Mundere is going to be the next to fall. Don't call it a comeback, as now this Dilly is getting excited. He's so incredibly close. Going to be able to get that double kill. Going to get that movement speed from Whimsy as well. Pansy is going to get it. Dilly, pop it off. Getting excited, getting the triple kill. Dilly gets a big win for No Quarter Gaming, for the TA Divine.
Yeah, that is so good. Now we see TA Divine able to get back into this game. Objective bounties are starting to fall off. A major turnaround, and more importantly than anything, it means they get a push on a lane right here. They're gonna get this tower down. They will immediately just get another influx of gold. We'll see if they actually get this before the... Yeah, they still got the objective bounties on that, so that's still bonus gold given over to them. Amazing turn. Now it is just 2,000 gold difference. Now, granted, that was because of a really bad overdive there from the side of No Quarter, right? They struggled a little bit trying to get those kills, and once those cooldowns go, like once you don't have the Volibear ultimate, once you don't have an Ornn that has that W up, like what are you really doing for your team? If Zui doesn't get kills, if Zui dies immediately, like what do you do?
Yeah, Nature's Grasp is coming into the river here. Baron Nashor has been claimed, but that's going to be a dive from Deity here. He's looking for Muzra here, but he's really tanky too. He might be able to live through this, as now they're diving onto Mandere. They're doing it again. Mandere's in some trouble here. All 5 members of the blue team collapsing, and Belbeth picks up another kill.
Yeah, this is actually pretty big here. Now, they did lose the Baron. Not great. You would rather have the Baron than lose it. I think would be a pretty... I don't know anyone who would argue that one. But they did get the kill at the end of that. They did, you know, the biggest thing to me is that they did not wipe at that, right? Like, if we had just had that fight happen before that, what all happened in the last, like, 2 minutes or so, that would have been a wipe. That would have been entirely going over to the side of No Quarter Gaming. Now, this time, they are going to be trying desperately, I think, to get in here. They still have their DPS. The only thing that they didn't have was Mundere, who now has that TP available.
Ooh, that's going to be the Nature's Grasp here, but it only lands on the one. Now, Deity is just a little too far forward. Gets that Wild Growth to live for just a little bit longer here. Heals off of that passive there, but it's now gone, and the rest of the red team can collapse here. Arrowcross in some trouble as that's the double kill for Zui, and he's over the wall as well. Dilly is now looking like a prime suspect for this Katarina here, shut down by the Sivir. It was an overstep. They got too greedy. We caster cursed them, and now 4 for 0, and they might lose the game too.
Yeah, that is really unfortunate, because now that's just the game.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. That was looking like a very possible comeback. Because remember, once again, they had scaling. Tia Divine had so much prepared to scale up in that game. But you don't want to go for the bush cheese when you see that there are tanks there.
Yeah.
And all you really had there, I believe, was the Belveth. So you had Maokai and Belveth sitting in a bush, and I feel like you just back out. You ward that and leave. You don't want to try and take that fight. That is really, really not what you want to be doing, especially as the dragon is spawning there, unless you know for certain it is a single person. And I feel like Tia Divine were feeling good. They felt like, oh, we won this fight. Now we are winning. Now we have hit our point in the game where we are in control, and that's not where they were. They got one good fight. They needed more to continue on.
Yeah, and not to mention, like, There have been so many times where Deity has been just a little too far forward, a little too aggressive, and this is the time where he gets the punished the hardest for it in that last kind of moment there. And sometimes he's able to get away with it, right? There, around that fight around Baron there. But maybe they have to rein Deity in just a little bit on this Maokai pick, especially since he's taking so long to finish the Fimbulwinter. He's sitting on a tier for a very long portions of these
It's the
games
last
here.
item he buys,
Yeah, yeah,
honestly.
yeah, a lot of the time. Um, so yeah, I mean, it's at a state where like Deity is your only front line. He gets caught out. That Nature's advance is not going to do, or Nature's grasp rather is not going to do as much as he'd like, especially in like a tight corridor like that. And now the rest of the team has to now deal with the fact that their only front line is dead, and the opposing team is still really far ahead. So
Yeah.
now they gets punished for that. Is now we are going to move into game number 3 picks and bans, and just after this break here. Don't go anywhere. This is match point for No Quarter Gaming here, and you don't want to miss it. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Zero Gravity Gaming Plat Playoff Quarterfinals. My name is Shinkari. I'm joined by Thousand Eyes. And if you're joining us for the first time, this is game number 3, picks and bans of No Quarter Gaming up against TA Divine. Now, No Quarter Gaming, they're up 2-0. This is their match point. And hopefully, you know what I'm doing right now? I'm caster cursing them. I'm caster cursing them because we want to see the full reverse sweep. We want to see TA Divine bring it back. We want to see a real long series here. So let's see if TA Divine can turn this one around. 1,000, what do they need to do, starting with the draft, in order to try to turn that around?
Yeah, I mean, this is the one time that we as casters are allowed to be biased. We are allowed to say, no, we want you to lose. But yeah, I think No Quarter really they just need to keep doing what they've been doing. I think they've been doing great. They've been very on top of, hey, we know we can play this in response to something, and just picking that. And now you can see they leave the MF open. Remember last time, first game, we saw TA Divine ban the MF. Second game, they didn't ban the MF, but they were on blue side, so No Quarter banned it because they didn't want to give it away. This time, No Quarter pick up the misfortune. Both these teams really valuing it, and we're probably going to start to see why in this game.
Yeah, I mean, Misfortune has been the best AD carry in the game, both in competitive play and in solo queue for the past couple of patches as well. She is insanely strong, very easy to pilot, and very easy to build around as well. So, you know, they have a lot of powerful builds for her to do, and especially after those crit changes, her PTA Kraken Slayer build is now insanely powerful and doesn't put all the eggs into that bullet time basket, but bullet time is still very powerful. So,
yeah,
No Quarter Gaming here locking in a powerful AD carry, while TA Divine locking in a safer bot lane here with Ezreal and Karma.
A very safe bot lane, and I think that should change. Okay, maybe not. We got the insta pike lock in, and that is actually kind of terrifying as a Karma. You do not want to be playing up against a pike. You'd rather be Karma than like a lot of other enchanters. But it's still not a great time. And even Ezreal, there's only so much you can do because eventually Pyke is going to start to get so fast that your shift will not cover the ground it needs to. TA Divine, they have a safer bot lane. This should be able to farm a lot better than the first 2 games that they've had so far, but it's not going to be fun because they're going to be constantly dodging out on these hooks from the Pyke.
Yeah, not to mention, this is Pansy Man's most played champion. 76 games, 59% win rate. This is a very good champion for him, and Pyke has been pretty well positioned in the meta as of recently. You know, a lot of folks have been going hard on those enchanters in the bot lane. You kind of see them from TAD as well, right? We've seen them pick the Lulu. We've seen them now picking the Karma as well. Game number 1 was the biggest exception there with the Blitzcrank, but Pyke is really good into these low health, low defenses characters who don't really have a way to deal with all the damage and the dive that Pyke is able to do. And not to mention, Pyke is also able to do a real good job of healing through a lot of the poke damage that these enchanters can throw out.
Exactly, yeah. There's only so much you could do about Pyke in this kind of a lane. But regardless, you have the Volibear lock in. They wanted to get that before the next bans came through. I think they're feeling like, even if that Katarina's ban, which it just did, we have options. We are ready. And they already know they're up against the Azir, so they're probably talking about what they want to take here. If they are going to just go full all in on the Wombo combo, or if they're going to go for more of a MF, you're kind of like on your own. We're not relying on the ultimate in order to make things work, but it'd be cool if you got it. So far, a lot of bruisers taken away on that top side, really trying to keep that top side just tanks for No Quarter, so they can keep picking that Maokai. Surprisingly, this time has gone through, has not been banned, has not been picked so far, and Poppy is going to be the lock-in to try and counteract some of what this Pyke wants to do. I think that's a really smart lock-in there.
Yeah, as now this Poppy really, really good to shut down a lot of the movement that No Quarter Gaming has kind of drafted here. And it has been a solid pick in Worlds as well, because there is a lot of mobility moving around here. So this is going to be really good. Echo going to be the lock-in for No Quarter Gaming here. A little iffy, especially seeing the Poppy there. We finally have their last pick here. Man, I'm not quite sure because this Echo might be going mid lane. It can go top sometimes, but you know, this Volibear is still kind of up in the air where it's going, but Malphite. Okay.
I think we have our answer. All right, so we are going for the Wombo combo style. It is going to be Malphite going in, just aggressive, knocking people up, making sure Pyke can follow up, and then getting the MF across everybody with that ultimate there. And Echo probably going to be going in the mid lane. Not a fun matchup into Azir. There are two ways that this generally goes. Either you stomp hard on Azir, or you're just kind of wave clearing, and early game, the wave clear is just not the greatest. Set going to be picked up in response to that Malphite. Feels like TA Divine are not as focused on building a full team composition as they have been before. They're really just looking for the just kind of individual lane prowess, right? Set can do pretty well into Malphite even in that early game. The poke from the Q on Malphite does not matter as much because you have that passive healing. Whereas on the other side, you've got the mobility, the capability to try and stay alive as this Ezreal. Azir is just a super safe pick. I'm liking on an individual level what TA Divine have picked, but No Quarter have picked just a really solid, stable composition that works in most scenarios.
Yeah, for sure. This is man, it's hard to really see like what TAD is mostly looking for here. I think you're right where there's not really like a clear kind of cohesion, but it is a rather front to back comp with it doesn't really need a whole lot of synergies in order to do well. I mean, I think at this point it's just like Ezreal is solid, Set's going to be good into the Malphite for a while. Poppy is strong against a lot of the mobility that No Quarters Gaming drafted and is also going to be able to knock the Misfortune out of her ultimate, right? And then, Azir is just, they had some success on the Azir in the mid lane before. Let's run it back from that game number one. I think that, like, this isn't exactly like a 100% synergistic team composition, but I think you're right. And I'm just kind of reiterating that this is more of like, hey, these are a lot of solid champions, some good lane matchups, and a couple counters here and there, and some comfort as well.
Exactly, yeah. And sometimes that can just be key, right? You don't want to just all index onto like, well, this is what's really good, like they do that at the pro level because they're pros and they know the inside and out of the game, right? Like, but at this level, I will always take somebody on their main over, well, this is supposed to be a counter matchup. Because there's so many times where people just don't understand why it's a counter matchup. You don't like all that kind of stuff. So I like this. I don't know if it's enough. That's the thing. From what we have seen tonight, this is more of the same for both teams, and that has given us a 2-0 lead to No Quarter.
Yeah, and it even felt like sometimes TA Divine was able to get leads or able to get impressive get some impressive wins, but only to like lose very quickly afterwards there, so man, it's hard for me to be enthusiastic about the TA Divine's team composition here when like a lot of from what we've seen from them so far hasn't exactly been should I say, oh man, what's the how to say, confidence making. I'm not sure what to say.
Yeah, I think more than anything, what I am excited to see is, we have Dilly on something that can be a little bit more competitive in the spot side. Mm-hmm. A good start on that Ezreal Karma can do wonders here. And from what we have seen, we have seen, last game on the Jinx Lulu, just not ideal. And that is not anything to do with individual player prowess. It's just that matchup sucks. And this time around, much better. They are the ones running that Karma, and they are going to have the poke. Granted, like you said, Pyke going to be able to stay alive throughout all of that. MF, on the other hand, is not going to be as lucky, and it's going to be really influential if she ends up taking a lot of damage before Pyke wants to go in.
Yeah, I mean that's what we're really gonna have to watch out for, right? I mean, Misfortune can only take so much poke, right? She's not one of the she doesn't have a whole lot of defensive options like some other AD carries do, and she doesn't have the crucial thing to Pike here is that there's no healing, right? There's no healing, there's no real protection either. It's not like a Braum or a Blitzcrank, right? Like Pike is almost all damage here. So we'll really have to see like how this bot lane is going to play out. But I still feel like Pansy Man and Muzra are going to do a much better job in this bot lane here. They've got comfort, they've got the best AD carry in the game, and I do want to mention this as well. 80 besides just MF stats in general of like a 52% win rate and in picked and banned in 18% of all games, right? This is also Muzra's most played champion this season as well. This is a whole lot of comfort in the bot lane for No Quarters Gaming right now. 130, or excuse me, No Quarter Gaming. 135 games, 54% win rate. Like that's some really great numbers for Muzra here. So we're on comfort. We're on the best champion in the game. We're on comfort for Pike as well into a favorable matchup. This bot lane is looking really good for No Quarter Game.
Absolutely, and just with the presence that I feel like Echo can have, Zoe has looked very comfortable on these aggressive mid lane champions. The Katarina looked really solid outside of just the ganks coming through. But Clap Defender looked great on the Volibear. Like, this is a lot more of the same, like we said, of new quarter or no quarter. How do you react to that? How do you find the cracks in those armor? I don't know if this is really going to be the composition that does that.
Yeah, but for sure. We are going to take just a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be on the Rift of game number 3, match point for No Quarter Gaming versus TA Divine. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Zero Gravity Gaming. My name is Shinkari. I'm joined by Thousand Eyes, and here we are on the Rift of game number 3. No Quarter Gaming versus TA Divine. TA Divine is on the red side. No Quarter Gaming is on the blue. And now, here we are ready to get this game underway. We've got two pretty big team comps, and we had a little discussion about this in the loading screen here. But this might be a lethality misfortune.
Yeah, most likely is. We see the tier start as well, which just there's no doubt about it at this point. You don't generally go tier on the crit, which makes sense in regards to the fact that they are playing around this ultimate, right? When you have Malphite and Misfortune, you're playing around the ultimate. The Pike also just can get a lot of ultimate kills off of that. This honestly looks really good. Just the one caveat that I have, and I always say this about MF, is I generally prefer the crit. Because while it makes the ultimate not as good, the ultimate still does scale with crit. And it does give you a little bit more flexibility, because if one thing goes wrong and you're running lethality MF and you whiff your ult, or the ult just does not hit for one reason or another, this is not gonna work. It's not gonna be a fun time, and you lose so much of what this champion is meant to be. Now, it will bully really hard in lane here, but you are just really hoping that MF does not whiff ult late.
Yeah. As now, I think we're running into basically Aerocross is running into a similar problem as what or I guess the other way around. Pansy Man is running into the same problem as Aerocross did in game number 1, where once that hook is down, you know, the enemy team is just kind of free to bully you as much as possible here within that time frame. But here we go for another hook. Gonna land it here. The exhaust coming down as well. Dash forward. Gonna be able to pick up the first blood here. Pansy Man down to the bot lane on the Pike.
Yeah.
Here we go. Hook number 2. It lands. God. Exhaust coming down as well there. Holy moly. It's so close. Oh, man. It's going... man. What a start for MF Pike already.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Jeez. And it's one of the big things, too. Okay. We'll get to that in a second.
Zui's in some trouble here, but might just be able to flash over the wall. Yeah, he's just going to dash over there for now.
Good dash. That's actually not the easiest dash to hit. You can mess that one up pretty easily. Yeah. But what's important there, Pike getting the kill doesn't matter that much. It's fine, right? Usually you don't want the support to get the kill. Pike can use the money. It's fine.
Yeah, as now we're looking for Pike just to get the easy pull right there. There's the CC follow-up as well. Guster Posey is flashed over the wall trying to assist his teammate, but he's taken incredibly low here. Clap Defender's going to be the one picking up that kill there. Is now 3-0. Aerocross has shown up in the mid lane looking for a cheeky kill, but not going to be able to find it this time, as now this Rampage continues 2-0-1 on the Pike right now.
Yeah, this is where my teammates are usually just spamming FF in the chat. We're just saying go next. Like things are not looking good here. Deity doing a good job on this top side though. Monterey getting the push in, but good stuff from Deity to be able to just cancel out the Qs with the shield, healing up so much, able to trade very effectively. And now with Pike 2-0 already, has boots, has a longsword. This is a Pike to be feared, and he's coming right back into the bot lane that's pushed in.
Yeah, Pike is, this is a real good position for him, because he can come in invisible, throw out that hook, and you've got a long way to go before you're back and safe underneath that turret there. And he is looking mighty dangerous as well, as now here comes Clap Defender up in the top lane. Deity in some trouble. That's going to be the Haymaker Shield and a Flash as well to trying to survive this, but Clap Defender comes out huge one more time. 2-0-1 on the Big Bear.
Yeah, now Volibear, another really good early game champion, just popping off right now. It's not gonna get easier, guys. It's gonna get a lot worse once level 6 is hit.
Yeah. If you thought Volibear was tough to deal with now, they're 2-0-1. They haven't cashed in that gold just yet, and they're probably gonna get level 6 back and then go back and pick up more. They're looking for Aerocross. Real good stun there. Now Aerocross is in so much trouble here. Taken incredibly low. Make it rain. Muzra picks up a kill.
Yeah, holy God, Pansy's good at this Pike. I mean, like, we talked about how it was, like, most played. That was such a good E-Flash. I was just not ready for how late it came through. Usually people like go for it with a little bit of extra time. There's a little bit of reaction time. There was almost none there. Pansy looking so good on this Pike right now.
Yeah, I mean, Pansy Man is doing such a good job on the Pike. I mean, he's proven his name wrong for sure. I mean, usually we associate pansies with cowards, but Pansy Man is just doing nothing but the Giga Chat stuff right now. Is good. This guys, Guster Posey here coming in, going to be able to get the charge on a Muzzra. Flashes to the other side, rooted up by the Karma here. Might be going down as Dilly comes in and secures the kill, putting his team on the scoreboard. TA Divine finally picks up a kill for themselves.
Yeah, that's their first kill. It goes on to the Ezreal, which is where they would want it. But it's one of many they need to get back into this game. And now with MF going down will mean just a nice shove here. Maybe they can look for this dragon, but with Zooey in the area, I don't think they're going to have much of an opportunity. Level 6 is starting to come through here, and now is where things get a little bit interesting because Zooey now has the capability to just go all in on Sir Envy, and there's only so much. If you pop the Azir ult, oh, is it?
Oh, yeah. No. Speaking of level 6, I mean, that's a level 3 Karma up against a level 6 Volibear and a level 4 Pike. I don't think you need to be a scientist to understand how that's going to go.
Unfortunate. This is kind of where playing support feels terrible because we like playing enchanters into Pike is just every bush is a terrifying horror game.
Yep.
And you walk in, you think you're just gonna clear a ward, and there is a Pike, there's a Volibear, and you just know you're dead. There's no way out of it. So much control of this map from No Quarter though. They have been on top of it. The pressure has been immense and consistent, and it is so good to see. This is so much more than we generally see from a lot of plat level teams, that we are seeing the aggression, but it is controlled aggression. It is not just we're gonna dive, we're gonna play stupid. Like this is like we are roaming, we are making sure we are meeting at the same time. Look at that mid lane dive they had, making sure the jungler and support roaming together. Like this is very good level of play.
Yeah. This is really, really good. Pansy Man, oh no, has found Guster Posey here. Can't dash to look for the stun though. So just going to take a bunch of damage and forced out of their jungle. I think this is important because Guster Posey still isn't level 6. And that Poppy ultimate is very, very powerful and very, very good for getting Muzzra out of these team fights here.
Yeah, this
now,
is...
Pansy Man looking for Sir Envy. There's the dash. There's the Emperor's Divide though. They're both going to use dashes in order to get away. So Sir Envy is going to live this gank.
That's always a win you'll take, right? You get the Azir ult down for two people technically, but they both get out immediately. Now that is not going to be ready for a fight, any kind of skirmish. And Azir would love to have that to help his team get a good start out to a fight. The burst damage from that is so good.
Yeah. The only problem I have with these roams is that if Pike oh wait a minute, Flash Clap Defender is looking for Envy really, really quick there as they go down again. Now 7 kills to No Quarter Gaming this early on. This is insanely good.
Do not let No Quarter play this comp, I guess, is the thing. Like, because they look like a different team to a degree. Like, they've been winning these games, and they look like a different team that is playing so much better. Like, the speed at which they are making these rotations is so fast. And they are doing it so controlled, so well, not over diving. I want to make sure that still keeps happening. One wrong move could cost them.
Yeah, Deity stunned underneath, not underneath their tower just quite yet, as they're going to turn off the turret here, heal up just a little bit, trying to get the last bit of damage, gets through before any of them fall. So incredibly close, but it only matters in horseshoes and hand grenades here as they are able to get away. Sir Envy coming through from Underay here, looking to try to get away. Flash over. Here comes Guster Posey. There it is, the last kill that they need. One more kill onto the scoreboard for him, but they still got a long way to go.
I was about to say that was one dive that felt a little sloppy, felt a little bit forced there, and they did end up paying the price there, training Munderat over for that. Zooey now gonna get some damage on this turret, waiting for that Poppy W down. There you go.
Yeah, he can't use that ultimate just quite yet, but I don't think he needs to. Guster Posey is taking a lot of damage here. Sui might actually be able to 1v1 them. So yeah, they're gonna have to back away here. Sui takes a little bit of damage in punishment, but you know, it's not enough to completely scare them out of this mid lane just quite yet. Pansy Man looking for arrow cross here, finds them in the bush here, throws out the hook, doesn't quite land. They're taking pretty low here. Ezreal ultimate coming across, dashes away to dodge it. Looks like Pansy Man is able to get away from this.
Yeah, the Ezreal does have that sheen.
Ooh, wait a minute, here we go. Hook back in, looking for arrow cross here. Muzra flashing forward, throwing out the tether. Still can't quite find it, but here comes Volibear in from the side. They have to be careful because the HP bars are real low. Arrow cross looking for the cheeky kill on the Pansy Man, but you can't play with fire, especially with that execute kill that Pyke has. Level 6, 303. Man, what a good turn. Continue to be good for Pansy Man here as he continues to play with fire. Holy moly, Mondere getting deity here, throwing out that Haymaker Shield. Gonna try to live through this as much as he can here, but Mondere still does so much damage. Deity still looking to try to get this. There's gonna be the showstopper. Both their HP bars are pretty low here. Goes into the bush, tries to turn it around. Mondere comes up with a kill on a Deity up in the top lane.
It is not a good look when your set is losing to the Malphite at the top side. That is not where you want Set to be in this matchup. He should have some capability, but the immediate steel shoulder guards the steel caps, I could not remember the name of the item. The immediate steel caps into the Warden's Veil. So much armor, 219 armor already on this Malphite.
Yes, now Arrow Cross is caught out one more time here. Zui's going to be the one picking up the kill as Guster Posey hex splashed over the wall. But the Still clap defender. No one saw it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I was actually checking there to see if Mondere was actually maxing W, just to try and keep Set down. Is maxing the Q, just still incredibly beefy. That is all items there. MV gonna have to back away from this. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's now Guster Posey diving in on the backside here. Emperor's Divide going to come through. Zui going to pop that ultimate in order to get away, but that's going to be the Chilling Smite coming through. They have a 3v2. They might be able to pick up a kill into Zui here, but here comes Muzra in for the side. Ezreal Arcane Barrage is going to come across, but Pansy Man is going to pick up the cheeky kill on the backside there. They have to be careful because he's still lurking in the waters, in the distance around the corner here. I don't think they can still look for a kill, but this is still really powerful. They're still able to find a kill for themselves.
Oh my goodness. And now, once again, just a back away here. Mondere just continuing to push this lane. Might be down in farm, but Dilly.
Okay. Dilly getting stunned up here. There's the Thunderstorm. There's the slow zone as well, but it doesn't even need to stun him in order for Zui to be on a killing spree. 3-0-3 on this Echo here as the kills continue to mount up. We've had a kill nearly every single minute in this game for the blue team.
This is the most one-sided game we have had all night.
Yeah.
I mean, like, yeah. I hate to say it, being that it would be the last game of the night if it continues to go this way, but man, it is just from start to finish, just controlled aggression from the side of No Quarter, and it does not seem like it's going to slow down anytime soon.
Yeah, now Mondere might actually be in some trouble now, but Arrow Cross is already looking pretty low here. Still has that unstoppable force available to them if they want to re-engage. There's on top of Karma. They're going to be able to find the kill. There's now it's 3v1. Deity stunned up by the Pyke. Here they come. Clap Defender picks up the kill there. It's 2 for 0 up in the top lane.
This is so good. I don't even know what to say at this point. It's so... the difference is immense in this game. The mid lane is dominating. Bot lane, obviously, Pansy has been just an incredible beast this game, both mechanically and on a macros level. The amount of roams Pansy has had, the impact on the map, it's been incredible for the first 15 minutes of the game. And
yeah, now Guster Posey might be in some trouble here. Gonna be able to stop Posey Man from that dash there, but it doesn't look like there's gonna be a fight anytime soon, especially with the blue team already finishing off the Rift Herald and picking it up for themselves here. We're probably gonna see another tower go down in just a little bit here.
Okay, so now another dive looking like it's going to happen here. Clap Defender ready for the ult.
Ooh, Zui a little bit too far here. Might have to pop that ultimate in order to get away, but Sir Envy takes a whole lot of damage from being right next to where Echo went to, but now he has to commit to that being underneath the turret. He's going to go down there. He's up in the top lane here. Clap Defender looking for the kill on the Poppy. Going to be able to find his down. Deity is the next target here. Monterey taken pretty low, but he's going to be pulled right back in to the Misfortune ultimate as Pansy is going to be the one picking up the kill there. Double kill now for Clap Defender, and that is so much carnage across the map here, and they only lost Zui. Now Dilly in some trouble one more time, gets hooked back in. I don't think they're gonna be able to do it. Slow from Make It Rain. Ace from the underneath there is, holy moly.
It's just so fast. They keep going and they keep getting kills and they keep getting away with it. It's just so incredible how much pressure they have had on this map the entire time. 20-3 in this game, up 11,000 gold at 16 and a half minutes. That is beyond almost anything I have ever seen in a competitive game of League of Legends.
Yeah. This is insane, the amount of carnage that's happening on this map here. And keep in mind that, like, you know, I wonder if this was like their mega 5-head strategy, right? Like, oh, you know, we play real well on particular champs and they ban away those champs, and so when game 3 happens, they start banning away the champions that they lost to in game 1 and game 2, and then we're finally open for full comfort in game number 3.
Yeah, this is finally a tower going down, but Deity maybe I was gonna say, please get the tower. Like, if you don't get the tower after that, that's gonna be so depressing.
Yeah. Oh no, Zui was threatened by Guster Posey, so decided to go over the wall to threaten Dilly here, but now they're in trouble one more time. They're gonna use their ultimate to dash back to Dilly here. Big damage, but now they're able to, I think Zui just goes down here. They're not able to help out their teammate here. As, oh man, it was insanely close too. The Pyke over the wall gets the grab onto Guster Posey here. Big bullet time coming across, gonna take folks down to about half HP there. And now Muzra's in some trouble here. Dashes forward. Sir Envy looking for some damage. At first, Divide is going to knock Volibear towards the enemy team here. But Pansy Man is going to pick up the first kills. Now they're looking for the second. Double kill for the Pyke now. So he gets launched away by that Poppy ultimate, but he's going to re-engage really quickly here. Smashed into the wall. And Muzra goes down. Clap Defender looking for the kill onto Sep and knocks him into the turret range here, but not going to be able to stop him now. Dashes forward. Has that death from below available. There it is. Pansy Man picks up another kill. Is now legendary. 9-0. And 5.
The total gold shared with allies so far is 1,700.
Jesus.
And the total gold kept for self is 412. Like, that is an extra 2,000 gold just printed out by Pyke because he just is hitting these ultimates. The amount of kills that this Pyke has gotten with just the R is bonkers. And while it's not the same level as it used to be before, when Pyke got like just so much money, this is so incredibly good because Pyke is just getting so much power. Remember, they gave him a lot of extra other stats in response to taking away that extra money he got from the ultimate. So this is just an incredible performance. Pansy Man putting on MVP levels of power right now.
Yeah, I think that really kind of seals the deal for you, right? When you're like, oh, you know, Pyke, you know, has been getting reduced amount of gold that he gives out to his team after that changes he received. I think it was in season 11. But you know, now we're taking a look at how much gold he's given us. 1,700. Are you kidding? After those changes and like after all this, like that's an insane amount of gold that he's giving to the team here. Not to mention the insane amount of kill pressure he has already. So like, this is a really, really good position for Pansy Man here, and a really bad position for Deity and Guster Posey. Is now Deity taken incredibly low here. That's going to be the Volibear ultimate, dodging around Poppy. Slam him into the wall, maybe for a stun for a little bit longer, but Chilling Smite is coming through. That's going to be the Shurelya's battle song, but Unstoppable Force comes through. Guster Posey knocked into the air, and a double kill for the Malphite now. 2 more kills for the blue squad as they pull in Arrow Cross, looking for more. Bullet time comes across, but they flash outside. Arcane Barrage comes across, but I don't think they're going to look for anything more outside of that. They're looking for the Death Brush. Okay, They're going to take some damage, get spotted, and continue to move away.
Yeah, Baron just gonna be started here, and like, you know what? Take it. It's yours. And you want it? It's yours. Anything you want on the map, it belongs to you at this point. Even with Zui and the bot side, Sir Envy gonna just respond to that, and I don't even know why you're here, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't think there is a world in which you get this.
Yeah, I think they might be able to steal it, like if they're like really sneaky, but like I don't think they'll be able to do it.
If they unplug the computers,
yeah.
For
oh my
no
god,
quarter.
Sir
oh my
Envy.
God, Zui broke his ankles.
Oh my god. Wait. What's the HP? What's the HP?
Hospital.
44 HP.
But like the fact that Zui got out of that and did not get hit by the Azir ultimate without using the ultimate, like Envy just needs a doctor.
Yeah. Okay, Zui in trouble one more time. Gonna get knocked towards the Karma. Not gonna get snared up though. Pops that ultimate in order to get some heal. Maybe to get some distance between him and the other team as we take a look mid lane at Pansy. Once again, snaring up Deity. Gets slammed down. Gets that death from below. Gets another kill for themselves onto the map. 27-5 now. Now Arrowcross in some trouble for themselves. Not even the tether is going to be able to save you this time as Zui picks up another kill. Sir Envy trying to show up and maybe survive and save this bot lane turret, but Pansy Man is just all over the map right now.
And now we are just continuing the presence here. Envy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no. Stunned up inside the bullet time with an Eclipse as well. Guster Posey going to pop that ultimate in order to knock Volibear away. Maybe this is the time that they need in order to turn this around, but Ignite is ticking. That Poppy is on low HP. They got to leave. They lose an inhibitor turret. They're still looking for more, though. Yeah, Monterey is on this top half here. He doesn't care about an Ezreal. As a who? I don't even know who that is. Arrowcross stunned up inside the Thunderstorm, inside the Make It Rain as well. Now Pansy Man looking for more one more time.
Oh, didn't get it.
Not going to be able to find it as they're now crashing on 2 inhibitors now.
You know what? Just keep going. Like, you know what?
Here we go.
Pew.
Yeah. Yeah, here we go. Going to be able to pick that up. Shurima shuffle. Really good. Let's see if there's a turnaround here. Unstoppable Force is going to be able to get them out of there as Echo picks up the kill there. Now Dilly is in some trouble on the backside here. Clap Defender's going to be able to pick up the kill there. Look at Zui just throwing the damage onto Deity here. They don't even care anymore. They're just like, hey, look at all these cannon minions we got. We got 5 of them. The Nexus, it goes down. And in the quickest game of the evening and the cleanest victory we've seen out of this entire series, No Quarter Gaming wins the quarterfinals.
I have no words. That game was one of the most one-sided games I have seen in a competitive game that I've casted. That is beyond what I have seen. I don't have a way to describe the things that happened in that game.
Yeah. I feel like talking about it too much might be flaming TA Divine.
Yeah, no,
right? Because,
I don't want to do that. That's the thing. Like, I want to just be clear that No Quarter just played really well.
Yeah.
Tia Divine did fine. Like, they were okay. But there's only so much you could do when a Pyke is obliterating your team from level 3 onwards.
Yeah. And not to mention, like, you know, it wasn't just Pansy Man that game because Clap Defender was all over the map too, right? It was hard to predict where Volibear and Pyke were roaming around. It's not as much that you need to have vision on the Volibear, which is easy to do if all you have to track. All you have to do is track one of the people. That's relatively easy to do. But when you have to track both the Pyke and the Volibear, now it becomes a lot harder to do your job. Now it becomes a lot harder to just be like, oh, just place wards. It's like, yeah, but place wards where? Right? I have a pink ward and I have a trinket ward. I can put down 2. One of them needs to be in my lane to defend me, and another one needs to go somewhere. Where's it going? Right? Like,
your resources are strained in a way that you just don't have a way to stop.
Yeah.
Right? Like, just the power of this Pyke and how, not just like, usually when you see a Pyke like that, it's like, okay, they're going to win lanes really hard.
Yeah.
but like I was amazed at how much presence Pansy had, not only in the mid lane, but in like 10 minutes was top lane and getting stuff for top side as well. So that's so, so incredible how much Pansy Man had just complete control of the map for the entire team.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? And I wonder if this was like a 5 head play for game number 3. I mentioned it while we were on Summoner's Rift, but I wonder if there was like a 5 head of like, yeah, we're not going to lock in comfort in the first 2 games. We're just going to lock in a couple of team compositions that are going to be powerful enough that TA Divine are going to ban away the champions that we're winning at and not our comfort champions. And then game number 3, we're going to sweep them with Pike Misfortune, because that's what happened
Yeah.
here. They got a lot of comfort champions here. They played insanely well across the map, and it's hard to really have a comeback for that afterwards, right? And this is a lot of really well played draft from No Quarter Game, really well played game in game number 3, and I don't think I have anything else to say. Like, it's just really good.
Yeah, I mean, what I do have to say is that the teams moving forward need to pay attention and probably keep this Pike in mind when they are picking their team compositions and how they're playing. Because
Yeah.
holy moly, what do you do about this? Like
Yeah.
you've got to have some kind of answer for this, whether it's banning it or whether it's picking something that has a better chance at handling it or can take advantage of the roams from Pike, right?
Yeah.
Because Ezreal Karma, cool, you're not going to die. You're not going to do anything if Pike leaves either. So like there's no winning this situation when Pike is mid lane killing your mid laner under tower basically. I just don't think that I don't think Tia Divine was prepared for the drafts that No Quarter had today.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this was I think we've already said a lot of our piece about No
Yeah.
Quarter Gaming here. They played really well. They did really well in their drafts. They played pretty much differently every single time in order to vary their picks, in order to make sure you couldn't completely ban them out. Really good job by them. They will be moving on to the semifinals. We don't know who has won between VRG Olympus and Glacial Valkyrie just yet, but No Quarter Gaming will move on to face SON Leviathan, the undefeated first seed team. Oh, not true. Okay.
Not right.
Okay, that is not right. Where are they going, Brennan? Where are they going? Okay. So SON Leviathan is going to choose who they fight, either the winner of VRG Olympus versus Glacial Valkyrie or No Quarter Gaming. So it's going to be interesting to see how this bracket plays out. Sure to be interesting in the future, but that is going to do it for us here in the present. For myself, the entire live broadcast crew, Thousand Eyes, my co-caster, MXL, or Brennan, our producer for this evening. Thank you all so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, press that follow button. We've got League of Legends action for you watching nearly every single day, of varying skill ranks here at Zero Gravity Gaming. And if you're feeling generous, press that subscribe button as well. It really helps us out. And if you haven't noticed, we have a bit of a sponsor for this particular season, and it's called ProComps. ProComps is a first of its kind drafting tool aimed for competitive and solo queue play. ProComps allows the user live feedback and analysis on drafting, giving them recommendations on picks, notes on matchups, and analysis on the enemy team's win conditions. These features allow the user to gain an edge on their opponent and improve their drafting skills. Use code ZGG for 50% off your first 3 months. That's code ZGG for 50% off your first 3 months of Pro Comps. And we use it here a whole lot on our cast. It helps us talk about the team compositions, the stories of the games, their PowerPoints as well. It's been a really good tool for us, and maybe it can be a good tool for you. So make sure you go and check them out. It helps us out as well. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and we'll see you at the next match. Bye-bye.